Any homie who's done time in the slammer knows the drill. Robbing people is the fastest way to stack that paper, especially robbing women, because their reaction time is slow as a turtle. Plus, they're clueless as a teddy bear, always coughing up the cash without a second thought. So he went for it, but big shocker, he ended up doing a year of hard labor for robbing an undercover cop. A year later, he finally walked out of prison, low-key trying to act like a decent human being for once. But looking at his wallet, with only 5 yuan left, he thought maybe I should just hit one more lick. Worst case scenario, I'm just back in the slammer for round 2. At least the food and drinks are free in there. But the dude had no clue that while he was doing time, the entire world went full apocalypse mode. All kinds of demons and nightmares started spilling into reality. Every night, literal monsters are out here roaming the streets. But our boy didn't care about that. He just wanted to fill his stomach fast. So he took his last 5 yuan, bought a broken peachwood sword from a street vendor, and hit the road. Maybe it was too late, because he wandered the streets for half an hour. Forget people. He didn't even spot a single ghost. Just as he was whining, "Is robbing people really this hard?" a figure appeared up ahead, standing stone still, with weird black aura radiating off them. But it was too dark for him to notice. Man's only focused on securing that meal, so he charged in with the broken sword, locked the ghost girl in a chokehold with one arm, and shoved the jagged wooden shard right against her throat, yelling, "Freeze! This is a robbery! Hand over all your cash right now!" The ghost girl was stunned, and the exorcist squad hiding nearby, waiting to ambush her, were also frozen in absolute confusion. The ghost girl was like, "What is actually happening?" He put on his meanest mug and screamed, "Where's the money? Cough it up! Don't trip, or I'll poke a hole right through you." The ghost girl's face went pale, her dead fish eyes looking totally bewildered. It took her a hot minute to even realize she was getting mugged. The exorcists hiding in the shadows, waiting to trap the ghost, finally snapped out of their trance. The leader muttered, "Holy crap, robbing a ghost in the middle of the night? This dude has some serious screws loose." The female exorcist behind him groaned, "We're supposed to be the professionals, and we haven't even had the guts to touch that ghost yet." Bro really just charged in solo. He's gotta be some kind of high-level pro. There's a 10,000 bounty on this ghost girl, but looks like we're losing out on the payday again. It's 'cause we're total noobs and cowards? Look at how fast and clean this guy handles business. Meanwhile, the ghost girl had absolutely no idea what to do. She's thinking this guy has zero fear, barging in at night and locking her throat down like it's nothing. Like she's a literal ghost. If he's not scared, he must be dead certain he can handle her. Thinking about that, she felt that annoying burn on her neck again from where that piece of peach wood sword touched her. If he jams that peach wood into her neck, she's either getting exorcised or catching some serious damage. After calculating the odds, she decided to just fold. "Don't hurt me. I'll give you money." Her voice was creepy as hell, but he only cared about the bag, feeling pretty smug about his robbery skills. HMPH. Girls are so easily spooked. One scare, and she's already freezing up. I might actually be a natural at being a bandit. The ghost girl rummaged through her stuff, pulled out a stack of spirit money, and handed it to him with her pale, ghostly hand. He snatched the cash and frowned. "Yo, why are you giving me fake spirit money? You trying to prank me or something?" The ghost girl looked confused, like, "That's literally all I have. I'm honestly so confused right now. Why would you come all the way out here just to rob me for some spirit paper?" Now it was his turn to lag. "So you only have spirit money? Do you think you're a ghost or something? Why are you carrying around so much funeral cash?" The ghost girl was shook. "Wait, what does he mean think? I'm literally a ghost, isn't it obvious?" Suddenly, the realization hit her, and she asked in a bone-chilling voice, "You seriously didn't know I was a ghost?" She unleashed her aura, and a literal wave of soul-freezing frost exploded everywhere. Our boy couldn't help but shake like a leaf. He gulped, thinking, "Ain't no way I'm this unlucky, right? I went out for a robbery and accidentally mugged an actual ghost." Trying to keep his cool, he doubled down on the bluff. "You say you're a ghost. And sure, I hear you. But where's the proof? Hey, I'll show you." Right as she finished, her head started making these weird cracking sounds. Without moving a single muscle in her body, her head just swiveled 180 degrees to stare him dead in the eyes. In that exact second, he realized that crime really doesn't pay, especially when you're robbing the wrong person. He was regretting his life choices down to his marrow, but he kept up the facade, stuttering, "Wow, so you can spin your head around, big deal? Does that really prove you're a ghost, huh? If you're so tough, why don't you take your head off? I'll believe it then." The ghost girl just gave him a sinister, chilling grin. Her pale, ghostly hands grabbed her own head, popped it clean off her neck, and plopped it onto her butt. She even mashed her face into her own cheeks like a total gremlin, then plucked out an eyeball just to show it off in her palm. Okay, stop. I believe you. Honestly, I believed you the second you did the head spin. Well, since you believe me, you can just die now. She finished that sentence by unhinging her jaw to swallow him whole. Just as her spectral teeth were about to sink into him, he yelled, "Wait! Hold on, I've got something even crazier to show you." The ghost girl paused, totally caught off guard. Something crazy? He let go of her neck and slowly started unzipping his pants. She widened her eyes in pure curiosity, thinking there might actually be something interesting down there. But the very next second, a literal fountain of liquid blasted straight into her face. The ghost girl let out a blood-curdling shriek, like she'd just been splashed with industrial-strength acid. The pain was so intense that her ghost head went flying off across the room. Haha. Thank God I still had that little stash of refined boy's urine left. Still fuming, the head tried to lunge back at him, but he jammed a broken piece of peachwood sword right against her neck. Don't get cute, the boy's urine won't kill you, but it'll definitely sting. But if I jam this peachwood sword into your neck, you won't survive the night. The ghost head froze in its tracks. She glared at him, hissing, "What do you want, you little brat?" At first I just wanted the loot, but now I'm just trying to keep my head attached to my body. I don't have Yang Jian's money, so just give me my body back, and we can call it a day. Oh, is that right? Do I look like— Listen here. I've done time, I know how this works. You really trying to finesse me right now? The second I let your body go, you're gonna try to delete me from the server. You think I'm stupid? The ghost girl went dead silent, because he was spitting straight facts. But come on, she's a literal demoness, how's she supposed to just chill? So what do you actually want? Her head was hovering in midair, and he knew holding her body hostage wasn't exactly a long-term strategy. So he pulls out his phone and makes a call. Yo, is this 911? Look, I just kidnapped a demoness. The vibes are super awkward right now, and I have no idea how to handle this. Can you guys pull up? The ghost girl didn't expect him to actually call the cops. See, in this world crawling with spirits, there are people whose entire job is to deal with this trash. These guys are split into official and unofficial squads. The unofficial guys are your usual Taoists, monks, and budget exorcists. But the official side is a police department that recruits cultivators to hunt down the weirdos terrorizing the city. Once he made the call, the spirit police dispatched an agent immediately. Right there on the street, her head still separated from her body, she floated there and hissed, "What do you want from me?" She never thought he'd actually call the spirit police to show up. A ghost girl like her is destined for a one-way trip to holding. Since she's constantly terrorizing people, she's basically violating every spirit police ordinance in the human realm. And once you break the rules, the spirit police show up to slap you with a penalty. I don't want anything. I'm just handing you over to the feds so I can survive. The ghost girl groaned. So who's the real threat here? You're the one holding my body hostage and pointing a peachwood sword at me. You're talking about being unsafe and calling the cops? You think I wanted this? If I let your body go now, you're gonna end me, aren't you? The ghost girl tried to sound super sincere. I already told you, if you let my body go, I won't lay a finger on you. He just scoffed and kept waiting for the cops. He didn't drop his guard for even a second, keeping that peachwood sword pressed right against her necklace body, ignoring whatever that floating head was trying to bait him with. Bro was having absolutely none of it. The demoness was about to have a mental breakdown. She's usually the one terrorizing others, but today she's the one getting kidnapped. Just as she hit rock bottom, a police cruiser pulled up, and a few spirit officers hopped out. The officers froze the moment they saw the scene, looking just as confused as everyone else. The captain stepped forward, gripping a baton glowing with high-tier talismans, and with extra buffs active, he stared down the floating demon head, then glanced at the demoness's body, still held captive by our boy. He asked, "What in the world is going on here?" The demoness huffed. "He kidnapped me." Our boy immediately clapped back. "Kidnapped? Are you serious? This ghost was out here haunting people at midnight. I'm just doing my duty and exorcising her." The demoness rolled her eyes so hard she almost passed out. She clearly remembered him trying to mug her and demanding cash just a second ago. Why would I even mug a demoness? To collect ghost money? Like I'm going to spend that in the afterlife. Bro would rather die than admit he was kidnapping her. The demoness was officially speechless at this point. She couldn't win the argument, so she just shot him a glare that could kill. The spirit officers were clearly buying his side of the story. I mean, the idea of mugging a ghost is pretty insane if you think about it. A young, short-haired officer stepped up and stared right at the disembodied head. You spirit trash really think you can flip the narrative and claim you're being mugged? You think this guy's an idiot or something? Our boy shot a quick glance at the officer. Hey now, let's not get ahead of ourselves. I was just joking around. You can't actually rob a ghost. There's nothing to be afraid of. After saying that, the officer shoved the demoness's head back onto her body. You're coming with us, so don't even think about fighting back. The demoness wasn't about to go down without a fight. She shrieked in rage. You losers think you can take me? If you've got the guts, just try it. Seeing her acting like a total brat, our boy frowned, pressed his broken peachwood sword hard against her neck, and said, "Listen to the lady and do what she says. Don't test me, or I'm actually stabbing you." Think I'm bluffing? The demon chick immediately acted out, glaring at him, but she had no choice but to let her head fly back onto her body. Just then, the lead officer waved his hand, and his partner pulled out some special cuffs to slap them on her. Seeing that, our boy finally let out a sigh of relief. The officers tossed her into the cruiser and locked the door. The female officer walked up and handed him a thick envelope. "Thanks for doing your part to keep this city safe, King. Here's a little something for your trouble." He stood there stunned, opening the envelope to take a peek. A fat stack of bills. Looks like 10,000 yuan. Talk about a sudden glow up. He wasn't even ready for this payday, goddamn. Not only did he avoid jail time for kidnapping a demon, but he even got paid. His eyes turned into dollar signs immediately. Now that is a lucrative side hustle. He felt the 10,000 yuan burning a hole in his pocket. He was absolutely buzzing, couldn't even put the hype into words. He slapped his thigh in pure excitement. I mean, what's a demon, really? To get that bread, I'm willing to go full degenerate. And just like that, a bright young man started his journey as a professional demon hunter. No criminal record, just straight profit. With cash in hand, he wanted to feast. But who's even open at this ungodly hour? Right on cue, some bounty hunters lurking in the shadows cornered him. The leader spoke up. Bro is actually cracked. How did you solo a demon with nothing but a broken wooden sword? He stared at the group. Who are you guys? Let us introduce ourselves. We're demon hunters, basically interns. We formed a squad called Dark Knight, taking out ghosts and ghouls for cold hard cash and rewards. I'm the team leader. Name's Li Han. So why didn't you guys step up and handle it then? Bro, we aren't built different like you. It's our first time dealing with a spirit witch. He frowned, acting like I haven't been in this game forever. As soon as he dropped that, the whole squad was shook. The demon hunter girl got all hyped up and shouted, Magnan, is this really your first time dealing with ghosts? Oh my god, you're literally built different. He shoved his hands in his pockets, acting all mysterious and significant. It's really not that deep, it's just a ghost, man. Lian jumped in. Bro, can you drop some wisdom on us? We're ready to learn from the master. Dealing with ghosts is simple. First rule, don't be a coward. Every ghost was once a human, and every human eventually kicks the bucket, so what's there to be scared of? Plus, you guys are doing this for the bag, so fear is just a skill issue. I mean, let's be real, being broke is way scarier than any ghost. Damn, bro, you're spitting straight facts. So, you want to join the Dark Knight squad? We'll even hand the captain title over to you. Lian offered. He thought about it for exactly 1 second before shutting that down. The logic. Why share the loot I grind for with a bunch of randoms? Just then, the police van carrying the spirit witch hit a major intersection. Out of nowhere, a red wedding sedan carried by 4 mini-demons slammed into the side of the van. The red sedan didn't even get a scratch, but the police van flipped like a toy. Inside the sedan, a gorgeous spirit witch let out a creepy, high-pitched giggle. Next to her was an unconscious officer, and she started dragging him off to the wedding ceremony. By the time the rest of the officers crawled out of the wreckage, the red sedan had vanished into thin air. The spirit witch took her shot and dipped with the captive. The officer was livid, screaming into her radio, "Intersection alert! A wedding sedan just snatched an officer, and the suspect escaped, requesting backup immediately." He was about to ghost these hunters, but he figured he should stick around to learn more about how they hunt. So he asked, by the way, what's the best weapon for dealing with these things? Bro, you're asking us? How would we know? Relax. I was just testing you guys. Oh, that makes sense. The go-to move for clapping ghosts is a peach wood sword, and a century-old one is basically the meta. If that wood got struck by lightning, bro, that's straight up legendary tier gear right there. These rookie exorcists started flex answering with everything from ghost-repelling talismans and demon-slaying staves to red thread and bagua mirrors. Our boy just nodded internally, thinking their theory is actually solid. They're just lacking the actual guts to pull it off. The squad was hyped, and the girl exorcist straight up asked, "Can you show us a masterclass on how to handle a ghost again? How about we go find a ghost so you can give us some one-on-one coaching?" He's internally screaming because he knows absolutely nothing, and he hasn't even bought his starter gear yet. Just as he's panicking, a familiar ghost girl comes sprinting towards them from a distance. Once she gets close and locks eyes with him, she does a hard stop. He freezes too, then drops a line about destiny, leaving the ghost girl looking absolutely bamboozled. Who would have thought they'd have a sequel encounter? She just escaped the cops, and now she's back to running into this guy again. She's fuming. "You little rat, didn't think I'd see you again, talk about bad luck?" Remembering how he kidnapped her and used that Tongzi water to wreck her, she was ready to pop off. He just smirked. "Funny, I didn't think I'd see you either. You here to farm more profit for me? We'll see who the unlucky one is in this matchup." While talking, he pulled out his busted-ass peach wood sword. The ghost girl was stunned by the sight. What is this play? Did this guy kidnap me before because he actually thought I was a human? So why is he acting like this now? He knows I'm a ghost, yet he's still fronting. Was he playing me this whole time? Honestly, money is sometimes scarier than ghosts. If kidnapping her meant a payday, he wouldn't hesitate for a second. He gripped that broken sword, eyes locked on her. To him, she wasn't a monster, she was just a walking ATM. The trainee exorcists watched on, stunned, with Leon sighing in awe. "You gotta respect the hustle. I don't think we'll ever reach that level of Chad energy." The girl exorcist nodded. "He's so cool," not even sweating while staring down a ghost girl. They were officially his fanboys, having no clue that their idol has zero actual power or cultivation. The guy is just rocking pure, unadulterated, main character bluffing energy. Facing him like this, the ghost girl actually started to sweat. She stuttered. Are you even human? For real? Why aren't you terrified of me? I'm an actual ghost girl, you know. He just stared her down and said, I wasn't scared of you before, why would I start now? Too bad for you, you're still wearing those shackles. The demoness froze, looked down, and panicked, realizing those anti-supernatural cuffs were still locked tight. So what are you gonna do now? Those specialty cuffs have her hands bound, making it a nightmare for her to put up a fight. Our boy let out a devious smirk and started closing the gap. Seeing him like this, the demoness felt a literal chill run down her spine. They say ghosts are scary, but humans are way crazier. Once a human goes feral, you're cooked, so don't you dare come closer or I'll scream. The demoness stammered. While nearby, the female exorcist watched, absolutely floored. Damn, I've never seen a ghost terrified of a human before. This guy is a total menace. Take notes, everyone, Leon said. Our boy let out a creepy laugh, his face looking shady as he stared down the demoness with pure malice. Scream all you want, the louder you scream, the more hype I get. Heh. I'm just worried you won't even know how to scream. Seeing her chance, the demoness tried to fly off, but he lunged, stabbing his peachwood sword right at her back. Terrified, the demoness scrambled to dodge. He was glued to her, giving her zero breathing room to make a clean escape. The demoness snapped and shot her long tongue out to attack him. He swiped down with his sword, forcing her to retract that tongue real quick. You brat. If I wasn't wearing these cursed shackles, I'd have torn you to pieces already. Please, you weren't wearing them before, and you still couldn't lay a finger on me. She tried to catch him off guard and fly away again. He scoffed, thinking there's no way I'm letting my 10,000 yuan paycheck fly away. With that, he kept the chase going. Even though she's flying, her speed is mid at best, especially with those anti-spirit cuffs nerfing her ghost powers. He kept closing the distance, while the other exorcists followed behind just to watch the show. He laughed like a maniac while chasing. There's no running away, I'm almost on your tail. Heh, I'm close enough to poke you with my peachwood sword right now. Run faster, this is getting interesting. Every word hit her like a truck, putting her under insane psychological pressure. She already lost the aura battle, and with him acting like a total psychopath behind her, it's game over. He's out here mental diffing her? Who could even handle this stress? Finally, the demoness hit her breaking point. He seized the opening, lunged forward, and tackled the spirit girl from behind. They rolled on the ground twice, while he kept his grip locked on her. Then he flipped her over and pinned her down, sitting right on her stomach. One hand pressed against her chest while the other skillfully whipped out his broken wooden sword. He jammed the jagged blade right against her throat again. When the other ghost hunters arrived, they saw him in full-on Sigma mode, flexing on the spirit girl he'd completely neutralized. What the hell just happened? Damn, we missed the best part. Leon was throwing a tantrum, and the female hunter agreed that the action must have been insane. Looking at the spirit girl now, she was straight up bawling her eyes out. No, this is way too much. Boo-hoo, what kind of monster is this guy? Wah, I just want to go back to my grave. She was experiencing a total mental breakdown. If she knew she'd run into this absolute menace tonight, she would have stayed home. Definitely didn't check the calendar today. Our boy was hyped, thinking about that sweet 10,000 yuan payout. Making money is way too easy. Hearing that made Lihan and his crew blush with pure embarrassment. It's pathetic to compare. They couldn't even handle a single ghost between the lot of them. Meanwhile, this dude caught the same spirit twice in one night, leaving them feeling like total frauds. If they knew he didn't even have any cultivation base, they'd probably just jump off a cliff out of pure shame. Suddenly, the spirit girl had an idea, snatched his phone at lightning speed, and dialed a number. It connected almost instantly. Hey, is this 110? I'm the ghost who got caught, escaped, and now I'm back in the hands of this total deviant. Get down here right now, hurry up, he's absolutely terrifying. Boo-hoo, please hurry. He was left stunned by her move. Who actually snitches on themselves to the cops? He was going to call them anyway, but now the ghost did all the work for him. A few feet away, Leanne's rookie team wanted to bow down and worship the guy. They were absolutely speechless. It's their first time seeing a ghost so traumatized they turned themselves in. This was worth the trip. Talk about a reality check. The rest nodded in sync, realizing that tonight's show was truly on another level. Not long after, the specialized spirit police unit pulled up in their cruisers. The female officer stepped out first, spotted him pinning the ghost, and her eyes lit up immediately. Oh, look who it is. Guess this demoness couldn't escape your clutches after all. He glanced at the spirit officer, laughing. I noticed she escaped again, and I couldn't just let her run wild causing chaos, so I decided to stomp her out myself. Wow, you are seriously such a hero. Right on cue, a few more spirit officers rolled up to help lock the demoness down. The demoness looked totally unhinged, staring at the officers and screaming, "Hurry up and arrest me! Why are you moving so slow?" Wait, didn't you just run for your life 5 minutes ago? Since when are you in such a rush to go to jail? Cut the chatter and just arrest me already. The demoness shrieked in pure frustration. Our boy was fishing for that bounty money, but he was playing it too cool to ask directly. So he casually asked the officer, "So how did you guys let her slip away in the first place? I had to chase her for 2 miles and sweat blood just to drag her back here." Translation: I worked hard for this, so pay up. The spirit officer was clearly missing the point. On the way back we ran into this creepy red sedan incident. A bride demoness in the sedan snatched one of our men, and by the time we caught up, the poor guy had his yang energy drain dry. He's probably gonna need 10 years just to recover. And this demoness took advantage of the chaos, found a window to bail, and we thought she was gone for good. Never expected you to pull up and snag her again. You're actually insane, dude. Just like that. The officer side-eyed the demoness, but the look on her face wasn't fear anymore. It was like she was staring at a literal apex predator. Seeing the officer was denser than a brick wall, he just went for it. Anyway, I'm still not super clear on your bounty payout system. If she escapes and I catch her again, do I still get paid? Yeah, every time you catch her, you get the reward. Exactly. Since you caught her again, you're officially owed another 10,000 credits. Oh, stop. The money isn't even the point. No way. You earned that bonus. Take it. The officer handed over the 10,000 credits, and our boy reluctantly accepted the bag. Once he secured the bag, he didn't want to waste any more time. So he told the officer, I'll stop holding you guys up then. You lot, drag this demoness back and make sure she's under tight lockdown. Say no more. She grabs a pair of leg shackles, ready to cuff the demoness. Our boy takes the chance to whisper, if you ever decide to bust out again, don't forget to look me up. The demoness is looking at him like he's lost his mind. I'm not escaping anymore. Drop that thought. I'm actually planning to rot in here for life. Oh? So you finally realized it? Prison life is the literal best. Once the police car peels off, he lets out a devious cackle. Hitting that demoness up for a one-night grind was peak profit. 200 yuan in the bag. This side hustle is actually goated. Lian runs up, fanboying. Big bro, that was absolutely cracked. He brushes him off. I put on a masterclass just for you guys. The secret sauce is simple. Never back down, just square up with these freaks. We've absorbed the wisdom, Chief. We're heading back to study your playstyle until we've got it down. Alright, bet. It's getting late, I'm dipping. With that, he turns around, ready to head out. Since this gig pays so well, he's convinced that even without real magic, as long as he's geared up, he's practically untouchable. But out of nowhere at the intersection, a red palanquin carried by 4 ghost bearers slams into him from the shadows. A split second later, he's vanished, reappearing inside the sedan. The rest of the exorcists behind him are absolutely shook. Lian is pale as a ghost. A red palanquin and a bride ghost? That's an S-rank nightmare. Call the cops. Big bro just got snatched by a bride ghost. The female exorcist's lips are trembling. She mumbles, it's over. Bride ghosts are pure nightmare fuel. This time, Big Bro is genuinely cooked. Inside the red cabin, he glances at the bride ghost next to him, veiled head to toe, and frowns. Yo, what's the move here? Is the demoness doing some cosplay or what? The demoness lets out a sinister, haunting laugh. Kiss me. Let's consummate the marriage. His eyes suddenly light up with pure hype. Wait, I get a bonus like this? Say it. A demon of Hua doesn't lie to the people of Hua. The bride ghost is genuinely stunned. This isn't her first time out snatching dudes to drain their energy. Every other guy she's grabbed either screams his lungs out, begs for mercy, or passes out on the spot. But this guy today? He's got her She thought to herself, how is this guy not realizing I'm literally a ghost? So she just blurted out, I'm a ghost, you get it? Like for real, nothing? Suddenly, she had absolutely no idea what to do. First time dealing with a situation like this. But our boy wasn't overthinking it. He just figured his luck tonight was absolutely cracked. First he finds out ghost busting pays bank. Then he already fleeced the same ghost girl twice. And now, a ghost is literally knocking on his door, begging to jump into the sheets with him. Once the deed is done, he's gonna flip the script and call the cops, get the spirit bureau to come bag this ghost chick, bank another 10,000 yuan, get the girl and the paycheck. Talk about a legendary hustle. Thinking this, he tells the ghost girl, come here, babe. Let me lift that veil. Not waiting for her to react, he grabs her red veil and yanks it right off. The moment it drops, a face so breathtakingly gorgeous appears right in front of him. Bro was legit stunned. She was way too beautiful. Doval face, big eyes, long lashes, arched brows, and those killer red lips. She was the definition of perfection, the only drawback being that her skin was ghostly pale. Of course, that creepy, supernatural pallor that would terrify anyone else just made her look even hotter to him. The ghost bride didn't expect him to be so thirsty, stripping her veil before she could even process it. What do you think you're doing? What do I think I'm doing? Didn't you say once the veil is off, it's showtime? What's the problem? Trying to ghost me now? You've got some serious guts. You know I'm a vengeful spirit, and you still want to get busy with me? Who the hell are you? Now she's starting to suspect he might be a cultivator. And a top-tier one at that. I mean, besides a heavy-hitting cultivator, she honestly couldn't think of anyone else who would stay this chill in front of a killing machine like her, and even have the audacity to play along with her script, just to cop a feel. Our boy, just trying to finesse the ghost girl for that sweet bounty money, says, what's your deal anyway? We said veil off, then smash, but now you're yapping like a politician. Talk about a breach of contract. It's not that I'm breaking a promise. It's just that no man has ever dared to lift my veil, let alone survive a night with me. That's just because you haven't met me yet, sweetie. Hey, the veil's already gone, so all that's left is the main event. You aren't getting cold feet now, are you? Who said I was scared? Let me keep it a buck with you. You really thought I'd let you lift the veil and actually get busy? That was just a little trap to bait you in. Whoever lifts my veil gets their yang energy drained dry. Plain and simple. So what happens if I just don't lift the veil? I'd still drain your yang energy anyway. Then please, enlighten me. What's the difference if I lift it or not? The bride ghost paused for a second. No difference at all. Then why even make that a part of the routine? Evil spirits have standards and a specific workflow for harvesting souls. Okay? I just like having that step in the process. So what, you're just gonna act like that? The consummation part was a step you made up too. Since that phase is already on the menu, why are you cutting me off halfway through? The veil is already off, bro. You're just trying to take advantage of me. That's a different story. I'm talking about your lack of professionalism here. As a professional ghost, you've got a set procedure. Can you at least let the victim have a full experience? I just need your yang energy. Why would I care about your experience? The bride ghost started acting completely delusional, and our boy just frowned. Oh, so you want my yang energy but won't provide good service? What do I even get out of this? Besides, if you didn't want to follow through, you shouldn't have made the promise in the first place. Put simply, you're a ghost with zero work ethic. Whatever, you're already in my sedan chair, I'll do whatever I want. I'm draining your energy right now, deal with it. Oh, so you're one of those entitled freeloaders, huh? Today, this boss isn't putting up with your attitude, and he dropped a cold line right back. If you aren't going to give me any perks, don't even think about touching my yang energy. Even the ghost bride had never met a guy like this before. She was absolutely seething. He smirked, telling her she didn't have the luxury of choosing where his yang energy goes. If you try to force it, I'll just unalive myself right here and become an even nastier ghost to spite you. So let's keep talking. The ghost bride backed off, her face full of pure terror. You're really that unhinged? You bet your life I am. What do you think now? He growled aggressively. Seeing he wasn't joking, the ghost bride was completely lost on what to do. If this dude is this arrogant as a human, wouldn't he be even worse as a ghost? Facing a guy who literally fears neither ghosts nor death, the ghost bride was completely out of her depth. They say humans fear ghosts, but ghosts fear the truly reckless. I respect your guts, so I'll let this one slide. I am the bride ghost, residing at the Dongshan mass grave outside High City. May I ask your name? The name's Chen Ziye. Cell block 3, High City Prison, inmate number 9527. Fine. I'll stay out of your way from now on. Wait, what do you mean go? Do you think I'm just some NPC you can pick up and drop whenever you feel like it? The ghost bride panicked, asking what he wanted from her. You're still gonna drain my yang energy today? And this wedding night is still happening. The ghost bride had never been more speechless. On her journey of draining mortals, she had finally met her match. The kicker was him threatening to off himself. His extreme and chaotic personality was just too much. If he actually committed suicide, he'd probably turn into an S-tiered evil spirit on the spot, making things way worse for her. The ghost bride was actually shook. She couldn't force the drain, but she also didn't want to actually do the deed. Fine, forget it. I just won't drain your yang energy then. Unexpectedly, she realized that wasn't an option either. Her entire ghost worldview was collapsing, so she looked at him and snapped, "What exactly do you want from me? Did I not make myself clear enough? We're following your procedure. We're doing this wedding night and you're taking my yang energy." The ghost bride started begging. "I don't even want your— You can't handle this, can you? I'm begging you. Absolutely not. Being a ghost is all about integrity. Even if we're out here killing people, we gotta keep our word." With that, he sprawled out inside the sedan chair like he owned the place. "Get in here. Time is tight, and the mission is heavy. Let's speedrun this wedding night." "Big bro, I messed up, okay? It's my fault this time. Just treat your little sister as clueless, and let me slide, yeah?" His attitude was crystal clear. He was definitely looking to take advantage of this female ghost, and at the same time, teach her a lesson. But the ghost was totally out of options, trapped in a game where she couldn't win. If she force-fed on his yang energy, he might commit suicide and turn into a vengeful spirit. But if she kept stalling, she couldn't actually seal the deal. What the hell is she supposed to do now? "Big bro, the sun's coming up. I gotta get back to the graveyard. Tonight was just a misunderstanding. Let it go." He shook his head. "I don't play for free. You aren't leaving until you give me a proper explanation. Even if you drag me back to the graveyard, I'll dig up your bones and take them home with me. I'm gonna keep pushing until I get my answer. Fight fire with fire." The ghost in the wedding dress suppressed her rage and finally gritted out, Fine, I'll do it." He smirked. "See? Wasn't that easy? Don't think I'm just trying to take advantage of you. Honestly, I'm teaching you how to be a proper ghost, so you learn that even in the afterlife, a promise is a promise. You should be thanking. No need for the formalities. Let's skip the next 10,000 words of the script." Half an hour later, the ghost looked at him with pure resentment. Can you give me some yang energy now? Wait, what? Are you telling me I didn't just give you any? That was just raw essence, not yang energy. Fine, I'll give you a tiny bit. The ghost nodded. And as she took a breath, a white mist flowed from his mouth into hers. A few seconds later, he clamped his mouth shut. There. I promised I'd give you some. I never said how much. Even though it was just a gulp or two, he still felt a bit sleepy. The ghost was stunned, but she didn't dare say a word. She had to swallow her pride. Her main goal now was just to escape this terrifying menace. Nothing else mattered. But the guy in the sedan clearly had no plans to leave. He glared at the bride ghost. Why are you so obsessed with draining men of their vitality? The ghost's eyes went cold as she hissed, I need to get stronger, and I only drain men because I absolutely despise them. Sounds like you've got a tragic backstory, huh? Lay it on me. I love a good ghost story, especially when it's straight from the source. The bride ghost wasn't feeling the attitude, but she spilled the tea anyway. Back in the day, I was the daughter of a wealthy noble family, but on my wedding day, before I even reached the groom's house, that mystery fiancé, who I'd never even met, ditched me for some other woman, turning me into the neighborhood laughingstock. I couldn't swallow that level of disrespect, so I set my own bridal sedan on fire and turned into a vengeful spirit. He frowned. Isn't that a bit extreme? If the guy bails, just go find another man. But then he remembered. These ancient feudal mindsets make tragedy pretty much inevitable. The bride ghost gave him a weird look. You were literally threatening to off yourself a minute ago because you were annoyed. Don't talk to me about being extreme. He chuckled. All right, pull the sedan over. The bride ghost was stoked, thinking this dude finally gave up, so she waved her hand and had the 4 little spirits land the carriage. Only now did he notice that these 4 spirits were just paper cutouts, not actual ghosts. So you've drained a fair amount of people, haven't you? Yeah, a few dozen. In the last little while. And you're aware that's literally illegal, right? The bride ghost was stunned. So what? Then, he slowly pulled out his phone and made a call. Yo, 911? Yeah, I've got a bride ghost situation over here. After he hung up, the bride ghost raged. You're seriously going to turn on me now? And you've got the nerve to call the cops? He raised an eyebrow. What is your problem? I'm the victim here. I followed the rules, you drained my vitality, and I can't even report you? If I kidnapped a woman, abused her, and robbed her blind, and after I was done, I told her she was turning on me for reporting it. You think that would be fair? The bride ghost was shook. His logic was sound, and she had zero comeback. Everything that happened was clearly her own fault. Ugh. You're such a scumbag, you're absolute trash. The bride ghost completely folded, realizing she stood no chance in a war of words. Lai is not exactly on his side, and she doesn't have the guts to play hardball with him. She just realized that even as a ghost, sometimes you're just straight up helpless. Right on cue, a swarm of cop cars pulls up and surrounds the sedan. As they surround the carriage, they hear the bride ghost inside absolutely losing her mind. You total animal. You piece of trash. You absolute degenerate. The female spirit cop runs over to him and asks, what on earth is going on in there? This ghost lady seems to hold a serious grudge against you. What exactly did you do to her? Bro, it's my first day as an outlaw, and I'm the one getting kidnapped. Isn't this just a massive face slap to my reputation? Plus, this bride ghost made it clear. Lift the veil, smash, and drain my yang energy. She wanted it all. So calling the cops after finishing the job makes perfect sense, right? Man, she's drained so many people, yet she's still playing the victim. The bride ghost glares at him with pure hatred. Chen Xie, is it? I've got your name marked now. I'm outnumbered right now, so I'm not going to waste my breath on you. But do you really think these pathetic cops can actually catch me? With a blood-curdling scream, the bride ghost launches herself straight off the roof of the sedan. Over a dozen spirit cops unload their ghost-busting guns, firing specialized nets that drop down to pin her. The bride ghost lets out a horrific screech as she gets hit. Everywhere the net touches her, white smoke starts hissing out. She erupts with a massive surge of demonic aura. With one final flex of her power, she goes berserk. A series of pops echoes out as the heavy-duty net shreds into pieces. Keep dreaming if you think you scrubs can actually lock me up. She turns around and flies off into the night. But before dipping, she leaves one final warning. Chen Xie, the spirits of Dongshan Graveyard are definitely coming for your head. He just furrows his brows. These spirit cops are honestly useless. Gave them a perfect assist, and they still couldn't do their jobs. The female cop walks up to him. Big bro, you okay? I'm fine, but you guys are way too weak. She's a total beast, and our borough's top-tier players aren't even here yet. Big bro, you need to watch your back. Word on the street is the ghost faction at Dongshan Graveyard is no joke, and since that ghost bride has a major grudge against you, she's definitely coming for blood. Probably by dragging those Dongshan creeps into the mix. To take me out? I hear you, but honestly, I couldn't care less. The spirit realm girl was shook, thinking, Big bro Ziye, that fearless energy of yours is actual main character material. Oh right, the name's Jin Ye. He paused, confused. Jin Ye? I'm Ziye. Suddenly, the spirit realm captain walked up with a creepy smirk. And I'm Wu Ye. After ditching the Spirit Realm crew, our boy headed home solo. At the crack of dawn, he was already back at the incense shop, ready to drop some cash on better gear. But the moment the short-haired girl saw him, she shut him down immediately. The $5 trash is sold out. Go bother someone else. He looked like he was about to lose it. Do you even have any cultivation manuals or spirit arts here? Like the high-tier stuff? $5 a pop. Bet. I'll take one. Seeing him whip out $5,000, the girl's attitude did a complete 180. She shoved the beginner manual into his hands, beaming like a lottery winner. Anything else you need, boss? Keep the rest for now. I'm gonna go lab this manual first. Without looking back, he dipped and headed to his crappy apartment. According to the manual, cultivation is just chugging ambient energy and condensing it into chi inside your body. Once you've got that chi, you're basically a walking spam bot for magic spells. He speed ran the manual in half a day and started grinding by the afternoon. When night fell, he snapped his eyes open, a cold blue glow flashing deep in his pupils. He'd already mastered chi intake. That was actually easy? Don't tell me I'm actually a 1 in a million cultivation prodigy. Why not put in another half day of grinding? He could already feel his dantian filling up with a solid amount of chi. The vibe was immaculate, like he could just manifest that energy whenever he wanted. Now that he'd officially unlocked the tutorial, he rushed back to the incense shop. You got any other manuals for some cooler spells? Didn't you literally just buy one this morning? Bro finished reading the whole thing, and he already mastered the basics. The short-haired girl is absolutely speechless. She's been staring at that manual for years, and still hasn't even entered the door. Yet this guy finished it in half a day. Though she keeps her mouth shut and heads inside to grab another book. This is the Master Guide to Taoist Arts, covering runes, incantations, and hand seals. It's a steal at 15,000. You taking it? Or what? 13,000? Looks like I'm grabbing it. Absolute bargain. Pretty sure he got scammed though. Cash handed over. He heads back to his room to geek out over the manual, reading until midnight. He takes a deep breath and masters some rune sketching, spellcasting, and hand seal techniques. Our boy is officially a certified boss now. Figuring it's late, he decides to go hunt some ghosts to test his skills and maybe grab some bounty cash on the side. He looks around the room for a weapon, but the only thing he finds is a rusty watermelon knife. He starts channeling his inner energy to his fingertips, carving runes onto both sides of the crusty blade. As his energy hits the metal, the runes start glowing to life. A moment later, a fully realized magical weapon rune appears on the blade. He bites his finger, squeezing 2 drops of blood onto the carvings. With heaven and earth as my witness, by the order of the 9 scrolls, awaken this weapon, unleash its power, and do my bidding right now. As the chant ends, the runes on the watermelon knife start pulsing with light. He's drenched in sweat. Didn't think crafting a single magic item would be this exhausting. He grabs his knife and heads out. How can he call himself a master ghost hunter if he doesn't bag a few for practice? The streets are dead silent. Just like always, he wanders through 2 blocks and finally spots 3 ghosts up ahead. One with a tongue dragging on the ground, another with a knife sticking out of its chest, and the third with a literal bullet hole in its skull. Nice. These don't look like your friendly neighborhood spirits. He stalks them quietly with his knife, ready for a sneak attack, when the long-tongued ghost suddenly speaks up. Hey brothers, have you heard the news? There's a ghost-hunting psychopath loose in Haicheng. Yeah, I heard. Word is that guy is absolutely terrifying. He kidnaps ghosts for bounty money. The guy is pure evil. The whole ghost community around here is already buzzing about it. That guy is absolute trouble. We gotta watch our backs out here. He frowned at that, whipped out a blade to block the 3 ghosts, and roared, "Which master thief are you clowns talking about? Is there seriously someone in Haicheng trying to steal my thunder?" The 3 ghosts jumped out of their skin, the hanged ghost staring at the psycho in front of them. "Who the hell are you?" He pointed his watermelon knife right at their faces with zero chill. "Who am I? Doesn't matter. What matters is, I'm kidnapping all 3 of you right now to cash in that bounty. And tell me, who is this master thief you rats keep yapping about? In Haicheng, I don't need some other fraud trying to cut in on my business." The 3 ghosts started sweating bullets. Take a look for yourself, big guy. Haha, you think there's even a possibility? The master thief we were talking about is you. The master thief you're talking about is me. The long-tongued hanged ghost replied. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the guy you're looking for is literally you. The other 2 ghosts nodded like bobbleheads. Don't just go off vibes. Man, I need receipts. What if you've got the wrong guy? The ghost with a spear in his chest chimed in. Actually, fair point. I heard that master thief goes by the name professional thief. He stood there stunned. Wait, isn't that literally me? The 3 ghosts cracked up. I knew it. There's no way 2 legendary thieves would pop up at the same time. Seeing them all agree, he gave a slow nod. Alright, I'm relieved. I really thought someone was trying to take my lunch money. The 3 ghosts quickly piped up. So, can we go now? The grin vanished from his face, eyes locking onto them with pure malice. You already know I'm the master thief? And you still think you're walking away? The three ghosts suddenly realized they'd walked straight into a trap. As he slowly unsheathed his watermelon knife, let out a twisted laugh, and muttered, "Anything you say can—" Just keep in mind that everything you say can and will be used against you in court. I mean, you're free to resist if you want, provided you can survive the edge of my blade. With that, he started swinging his trusty watermelon knife around, as two mystical runes glowing on the blade emitted a pressure that made the three ghosts turn ghostly pale. The trio was so shook they literally froze in place. This guy is a straight-up menace to the afterlife. Catching two ghosts in one night is legendary. Even the high-tier vengeful spirits are low-key scared of him. No, please. Don't hurt us. We'll do whatever you want. Right on cue, Malu Dan chimed in. Yeah, seriously, don't hurt us. You want us to go to jail? Say less. We'll go willingly. Just don't kill us. He didn't expect them to be this cooperative. And for a second, he was actually confused. Nah, that won't work. Don't be so obedient. Put up a fight. You're ghosts, for crying out loud. Maybe you'll actually win. The three ghosts shook their heads immediately. Yeah, we're good on that, thanks. We're more than happy to surrender without a fight. Exactly. We don't want to resist. Can you just haul us off to the station already? They'd already heard the rumors from last night about that female ghost he caught, who ended up completely traumatized after spending time in the spirit bureau, so they were absolutely not trying to test his patience today. But man, he didn't bust his tail cultivating all day for nothing. He even learned secret techniques just to enchant this watermelon knife. And now these ghosts won't even give him a chance to slash them? Like, what kind of logic is that? He at least needs to test if his new cultivation stats are actually working or not. So he looked at the three ghosts and said, "If you don't fight back, won't you feel bitter about getting captured like this?" Not at all. Getting clapped by a big boss like you is an honor, no cap. Getting captured by you is totally on us. We brought this on ourselves. Look, we even brought our own noose. Just tie us up already. Hurry up, we're literally dying to get locked up. You guys have to resist so I can actually tie you up properly. The three ghosts stood their ground on not fighting back. They grabbed their own rope, wrapped it around themselves, and basically tied themselves into a trio bundle. Big boss, legend. Please just call the cops on us already. The guy was left completely speechless. The hell? Something feels off here. But is our boy the type to just take the L? He furrowed his brows and told the three ghosts, "You losers were talking trash about me just now." The trio froze, shaking their heads in unison. "Nah, we definitely didn't. I heard you loud and clear. Don't play dumb." He said that with the tone of a guy who isn't taking no for an answer. "For real, we didn't. I said you did, so you did. If you talk trash to me, you're getting sliced." Saying that, he hacked through the ropes, binding the three ghosts. This masterclass in gaslighting had the three ghosts immediately realizing they were doomed. The stab ghost's eyes widened. "Are you literally just looking for an excuse to beat us up? Why did he start walking over with that knife?" Exactly. And with that, he brought the watermelon knife straight down. The hanging ghost snapped. "You think we're just gonna sit here and get bullied?" He whipped his head forward in a rage. His long tongue lashed out, dripping with ghostly energy, aimed straight for our guy. Our MC just chuckled, grabbed the flying tongue with his left hand, and channeled his internal energy. "That tongue's too long. It's making you talk weird. Let me give you some free surgery." As soon as the words left his lips, the watermelon knife in his right hand flashed. Swish! He sliced a massive chunk of that tongue right off. The rest of it retracted instantly, and the hanging ghost flipped backwards in pure agony, slamming into the ground. His eyes lit up as he stared at the knife, realizing his watermelon blade could actually shred ghosts. The stab ghost lunged at him, his demonic claws extending into jagged blades aimed right at his chest. Our MC flipped his grip and swung. The ghost's claws were snapped like twigs, sending him flying backward into the dirt. The bullet hole ghost didn't dare get close, instead puking a massive wave of ghostly aura right at his face. Our boy dumped the last bit of his energy into the watermelon knife and swung with everything he had. Enhanced by his internal energy and the divine weapon buff, the blade glowed, slicing the ghostly aura clean in two. The residual light kept flying, slamming into the bullet hole ghost and sending him screaming into the shadow realm. The three ghosts scrambled to their feet, looked at each other, and admitted, "Yeah, we really are absolute pushovers. Run for it." They didn't need to be told twice. They turned and bolted for their lives. He let out a goofy laugh. "Where do you think you're going?" Hearing that, the three ghosts froze instantly, ready to just give up and accept their fate. Seeing this, he rushed to add, "Wait, no, you guys are supposed to run. Otherwise, this is going to be boring as hell." The three ghosts were literally sobbing at this point. Like, what does this absolute maniac even want from us? Suddenly, it all clicked. No wonder the bride ghost and the demon slayer were having a mental breakdown. Who wouldn't lose their mind getting bullied like this? Finally, the ghosts couldn't take it anymore. They swiped a phone from a passerby and dialed the emergency line. "Hello, is this the cops? We're three ghosts. Get down here and arrest us already." The spirit police arrived on the scene in record time. Seeing the squad, the three ghosts rolled and crawled toward them, holding out their wrists, Quick, cuff us and get us out of here. We've been scaring people and doing bad stuff. Just throw us in a cell. The cops were standing there looking lost, thinking, since when do ghosts have a guilty conscience? Meanwhile, our boy was looking genuinely heartbroken over receiving a 30,000 bounty reward. Haha. Honestly, making money really does hit different. But when he finally strolled back home, he realized something was definitely off. There was a bright red, bloody handprint plastered right on his door, and more importantly, the wall around the print was covered in scribbled text. Offending the bride ghost is a direct declaration of war against the Dongshan graveyard. Tonight, the Dongshan graveyard declares. He frowned, confused. What is this, a prank? So, messing with the bride ghost means I'm picking a fight with the Dongshan graveyard? You guys really showed up at my front door just to drop a threat? As he was muttering to himself, two ghosts slowly hopped out from the shadows nearby. One of them groaned. I told you not to write so much useless filler. We ran out of space, now we can't even fit the word war in there. See? The ghost holding the brush retorted, I was just trying to show off a little culture, alright? Besides, I assumed he'd get that. Declares war. With that, the ghost scribbled, war, after the comma declares, and turned to glare at him. Chen Ziye. After declaring war, the two ghosts didn't waste a single second turning to leave. But our boy immediately barked at them to freeze. Listen up. Who gave you permission to graffiti my front door? The two ghosts were stunned by his roar, asking, can't you read what's written there? We're the ghosts from the East Mountain Graveyard, sent by the boss himself. We're just following orders to tag this place. The East Mountain Graveyard boss? Doing what exactly? Running a pathetic little gang now? Trying to play pretend as local thugs? Clean it up, right now, or you're gonna catch these hands. You think you can just order us around, kid? You got a death wish? We're literal ghosts, and you're already in deep trouble, so quit the attitude. They tried to walk away, but our boy pulled a watermelon knife from behind his back and charged them. The ghost holding the brush sneered, a punk like this? Doesn't even need the whole graveyard to deal with. I'm gonna torment him until he's dead meat tonight. He inhaled deeply, his ghostly head inflating like a balloon, before blasting a howling gale of sinister energy straight at our boy. Our boy scoffed, gripped his knife tight, channeled his inner energy, and swung. The incoming wind blast got sliced clean in half, dissipating harmlessly to the sides. Not bad, you've got some tricks up your sleeve. Let's see how you handle this. Suddenly, the ghost extended a jagged, demonic claw. The claw stretched out, trying to grab our boy from a distance. Our boy slashed his knife with a sharp metallic zip, and the ghost let out a blood-curdling scream. The extended claw was severed instantly, hitting the ground and dissolving into a cloud of black smoke. Our boy lunged forward and drop-kicked the one-handed ghost. The remaining ghost panicked, backed away, and frantically swung his claws to fend him off, but our boy's watermelon knife cleaved through, shattering every wave of ghostly energy into pieces. A split second later, he was already standing right in the ghost's face. The ghost trembled, hiding his hands behind his back in fear. Stay back! I'm telling you, I work for the East Mountain Graveyard. Our boy smirked. Even if you were a ghost working for the King of Hell, so what? You messed with my door, and now you're gonna pay the price. Clean it up, or I'll make sure your souls are erased from existence forever. Bro knew that soul-shattering talk was cap. The real goal is getting that bag. These weren't ghosts to him, they were just two walking, talking paychecks. The ghosts, shook by his sheer aggression, didn't dare clap back and just scrub the door like NPCs. Once the door was spotless, they looked at him like, are we good now, boss? He frowned, pointed at the messy room, and said, clean the inside too, chop chop. The ghosts were stunned, scrambling to say, bro, we didn't trash the place. We didn't even step inside yet. Did I say you did it? I said clean it up? Or are you guys struggling with basic instructions? At this point, the ghosts were ready to straight up weep. They showed up looking for a fight, only to get absolutely cooked. Got folded like laundry, forced to polish the door, and now they're being used as free labor for janitorial work. If word got out, management would be tilted, co-workers would be crying, and every demon in existence would be speechless. But do they even have a choice? Once the cleaning was done, he looked suspiciously satisfied. Not bad. Though the attention to detail is still mid, he muttered. One ghost spoke up. The room's clean. Can we bounce now? Are we good to go? Leave? Hold your horses. I've got people coming to send you off. The ghosts were hyped. Wait, he's actually seeing us off? Don't be shy. Trust me, I've got everything handled for you. He pulled out his phone and dialed, Yo, Spirit Bureau? That you? Yeah, I got two ghosts here. Come pick up the trash. He hung up and told the ghosts, stay put, your ride is pulling up in a sec. The ghosts were actually feeling kinda touched, thinking he wasn't such a bad guy after all. You're actually not the worst, man. A few minutes later, a police cruiser rolled up outside. Jin Ye, the spirit officer, stepped in with the team to drop off the 20K bounty. Big bro, your efficiency is actually insane. The ghosts were staring at him in complete, utter confusion. Wait, you're sending us to jail? What, you want a scholarship to Ghost University instead? The ghosts looked at each other, realizing they'd been absolutely played. The officer didn't waste time, tossing the two ghosts into the cruiser immediately. As they drove off, the ghosts gave him a look of pure, unadulterated hate. Don't forget, the showdown is tomorrow night at Dongshan Graveyard. Our boss and the bridal ghost are waiting for you there. Our boy just chuckled, thinking, only a brain-dead NPC would show up. I'm staying here to grind levels in peace. As soon as the officer left, a creepy red sedan chair came flying from the distance. The bridal ghost glared at him with pure, unadulterated rage. Next to her, Su Mengni looked like she was about to have a mental breakdown. She looked absolutely pathetic, and the bridal ghost gritted her teeth and snarled at him. I'm taking this woman to the Dongshan Graveyard. If you don't show up tomorrow night, she's catching a one-way ticket to the afterlife. With that, the red sedan chair zoomed off into the abyss, leaving behind only the ghost's maniacal cackle. His expression darkened instantly. Alright, let's see just how tough this Dongshan Graveyard really is. He pulled out his phone and dialed the officer, Jin Ye. Get me some explosives, the more the better. Money is no object. Jin Ye said bet, and hung up. After grinding all night, our boy's cultivation base ticked up just a bit more. Soon after, Jin Ye knocked on the door with over 2,000 pounds of C4. She pointed toward the small delivery truck parked behind her. She didn't ask why he needed the boom boom yesterday, but the curiosity was eating her alive today. Idle, seriously, what are you planning to do with all that explosives? He smirked. I'm about to turn Dongshan Graveyard into a parking lot so these ghosts learn what happens when you threaten me. Jin Ye was completely shook. Using actual bombs on ghosts? Why has nobody ever thought of this before? This guy's brain is just built different. Oh, by the way, the fact that Dongshan Graveyard challenged you has already spread through the entire supernatural scene in Haicheng. They're definitely using you as a hype man to flex their influence and expand their territory. Honestly, these ghosts actually know how to play the social media game. Dongshan Graveyard. He scanned the area and let out a cold, chilling grin. You guys want to threaten me? I'll make sure you don't even have time to regret it. He grabbed a shovel from the back of the truck and started walking. Braving the scorching sun, he started digging hole after hole, burying crates of explosives in every single one. Once the prep work was done, he found a clear patch of ground, sat down cross-legged, and went back to his grind. Time ticked by, and just as the sun started setting, a few cars rolled up carrying the Spirit Bureau and a random reporter. Hey guys, what's up? We're live on the Spirit Paranormal channel. We got a tip last night that the ghosts at Dongshan Graveyard we're throwing hands with some mysterious cultivator. We've officially touched down at the Dongshan Graveyard. With the Spirit Bureau backing us, we're gonna live stream this absolute bloodbath. The sky turned pitch black, cold winds started howling, and the ghost energy was suffocating. The vibes were straight up cursed. He slowly stood up, pulled a watermelon knife out from behind his back, and let out a massive roar. Listen up, you graveyard clowns. Come out here and catch these hands. The second he roared, the entire Haicheng city felt the shockwave. The ghosts at Dongshan had been running the show for way too long, terrorizing whoever they wanted. Everyone was scared stiff of them, and even the Spirit Bureau wouldn't bother them unless they crossed the line, preferring to leave the graveyard alone rather than start unnecessary beef. But today, this absolute madman didn't just show up on time. He walked right into the lion's den. Everyone watching thought, bro is literally speedrunning his own funeral. Right on cue, the yin energy in the graveyard spiked through the roof. In the next heartbeat, shadows flickered, and suddenly they were surrounded by dozens of demons with nightmare-fuel faces. The Spirit Bureau officers in the distance looked like they'd seen a ghost. Pun intended. There were just too many of them. It was like a few beat cops trying to fight off an entire gang. One-on-one? Easy dubs. But this was a total swarm. He scanned his surroundings, took one look at the 100-plus monsters, and scoffed. Typical graveyard trash. Not a single one of you even looks human. As soon as he dropped that line, the graveyard went deathly silent. The air literally froze. His words were basically a massive come-at-me sign for the whole crowd. You see, the ghosts buried here all had their own sad backstories. So what he just said wasn't just roasting them. It was tearing the scabs off their trauma, pouring salt in the wounds, and twisting the knife, all while asking if it stung. That triggered the entire mob. There was zero room for a diplomatic exit now. Just as the swarm prepared to blitz him, a palanquin flew in from the distance and slammed onto the dirt. A ghost bride in the palanquin glared at him with pure murder in her eyes, and right beside her was Su Mengrer, tied up and helpless. He looks like he hasn't taken a scratch, but his face looks like he's seen a ghost, probably pissing his pants from fear. You actually had the guts to show up? Our boy smirked and said, you know exactly how cracked I am. Why wouldn't I show up? The red-robed demoness turned beet red, shouting in a mix of shame and rage, then prepare to die. I didn't realize you were this obsessed with me. It was just a little thing in the sedan, right? What's the matter? Can't live without me? You really had to hunt me down just to kidnap me. He's clearly trying to stir the pot, dropping lines that make everyone's minds wander into the gutter. The crowd is confused as hell. sensing there's some juicy tea that nobody's spilling. The chat in the Spirit Horror livestream is absolutely losing their minds. Holy crap, what a legend. Truly a master thief. Given how the demoness is acting, she's definitely been dealt with by this guy. No way, we actually found a Chad on the same level as Ning Kai Chen. The demoness finally snaps, "Poof! Once you're dead, I'm tearing your soul to pieces so you can't even exist as a ghost. You think I'm scared of you just because you've got a few ghosts backing you up? Alright, looks like diplomacy is off the table." His eyes went cold. Stop yapping. Kill him. Shred his soul. Don't give this guy a chance to respawn as a spirit. The demoness knows exactly what's up. A perverted scumbag like him becoming a ghost. If you give him even a second to breathe, he's gonna turn into something way more savage, way more dangerous than any ghost in this graveyard. So the second he drops, he needs to be erased from existence. Otherwise, we're all completely cooked. Once the command was given, the army of vengeful spirits swarmed him all at once. The streamers, watching from afar, were shaking in their boots, but our boy remained cold as ice, calmly tightening his grip on his trusty watermelon knife, and casually said, "Last chance, scrubs. Let the girl go and apologize, and I'll pretend none of this ever happened." The ghosts actually thought he'd lost his mind. Respect. Over 100 ghosts are about to jump him, yet he's talking that kind of trash? You'd think he was the one hunting them for sport. The ghosts didn't even blink at his threats. They just kept charging straight for his throat. He smirked. Looks like he's securing that payday tonight whether they like it or not. He reaches into his pocket, his thumb hovering over the detonators. The next second, boom, boom, boom. The sound of pure chaos echoes everywhere. The Dongshan graveyard goes absolutely nuclear. Dirt and dried bones flying everywhere like a chaotic fireworks show. Their bones got pulverized on impact, and over a dozen ghosts let out a collective, screeching death rattle. Obviously, since their remains got wiped, their spirit bodies are taking the hit too. The rest of the ghost crew is just standing there, stunned, staring blankly at the mushroom clouds he just created. That terrifying power actually shook the whole squad to their core. Then, every single one of them snaps their heads toward him. They didn't even dream this guy would pull up with physical damage in a spirit fight. Even the bride ghost in the red sedan chair is looking confused as hell. Like, bro, we came for a scrap. Why are you blowing up our graves? Where's the sportsmanship? He just chuckles, having the time of his life. Is this fun yet? Is this exciting enough for you? I've still got 10 more of these detonators ready to go. Don't worry, line up. I'll make sure everyone gets their bones vaporized personally. The ghosts are literally lagging. Their brains can't process his absolute insanity. At that moment, they all had the same thought. Is this dude the real monster here? Imagine ghost hunting, but you bring C4 to a spirit fight. Who does that? The spirits were losing their minds. Their bones are their lifeline, and he's threatening to wipe the whole server. Their skeletons are the core of their existence. If those break, it's game over for their souls. From the back of the pack, an old ghost with white hair steps out, radiating enough dark energy to show he's the local boss. He sneers. "Kid, you're the first person to ever bring bombs to a ghost fight. Gotta be honest. We were definitely not ready for that level of disrespect." He scoffs. "And who are you supposed to be? I'm the big boss of this graveyard. Bye, F.A. She's my granddaughter. No wonder you brought your whole squad to help her save face. Listen here, you old hag. Cut the talk. I'm about to turn your entire graveyard into a crater." He was as stubborn as ever, and the old ghost was clearly terrified of his vibe, so he blurted out, "Wait, kid. You were the one bullying my granddaughter, making our Dongshan graveyard look like absolute trash. But honestly, this is something we can still resolve. How about we both take a step back? You just kneel down and apologize to her, and we'll call it even. No more beef from our graveyard. That way our Dongshan graveyard looks like the bigger person here. What do you think?" After the old fraud finished, he just stared him down in total, dead silence. The old ghost felt a chill crawl down his spine. He tried to speak, "Young man." But then, boom! A massive explosion. He detonated a barrel of explosives right in their faces. The sheer power blew a crater the size of a building, sending dirt and bone fragments flying everywhere, wrecking over a dozen ghosts whose remains got pulverized, effectively turning their spirit bodies into glitchy messes. The ghost mob was shook to their cores, and the spectators watching from afar were completely stunned. The livestream chat was blowing up, spamming nothing but "this guy is a literal unit." Now the old ghost's face looked absolutely wrecked. He desperately pleaded, "Young man, let's talk this out. Don't get excited. Talk this out? Are you high? You want me to kneel to you guys? Are you actually losing your mind? Right now, I'm the one surrounding you with bombs. Anyone watching would think you're the ones holding the cards, and you have the audacity to make demands? What makes you think you deserve an apology?" The old ghost scrambled. "Fine, no kneeling, just an apology will do." Another bomb detonated, sending the graveyard ghosts into a straight-up panic attack. The white-haired old fraud was genuinely losing his marbles. He reached out a hand, screaming, "Stop! Cut it out! No more explosions. No apologies. I won't make you say sorry anymore. Can we please just negotiate? Our boy really didn't care about this old ghost's feelings. He just kept spamming detonators, turning the graveyard into a total dust bowl. Ghosts were scrambling everywhere like headless chickens. The whole place was a certified hood classic of chaos. The white-haired geezer was losing his mind, screaming, "Can't we just apologize, bro?" Boom, boom, boom. Stop the explosions. We'll literally kowtow to you right now. Boom. The second the geezer finished talking, a bomb went off right under his feet, blowing his own skeleton to smithereens. The old ghost shrieked in terror, his ghost energy flickering like a dying light bulb. Boom, boom. A chain reaction of explosions echoed through the air, leveling the entire graveyard into a wasteland. Shattered bones flying everywhere, mixed in with ghost energy, dirt, and the thick, spicy scent of gunpowder and smoke. Over 100 ghosts stood around the cratered mess, looking absolutely wrecked, their bodies completely blown to pieces. Not a single ghost was left in one piece, and they were all feeling their soul essences vibrating in agony, with the weak ones on the verge of fading into nothingness. Even the white-haired old geezer couldn't stop his hands from shaking. He glared at our boy and roared, "You little rat! You're not leaving here alive! I'm gonna tear you to shreds!" Our boy just pulled out a watermelon knife and said casually, "Your souls are already half-cracked and leaking, and you're still out here acting tough? Even if our souls are messed up, there's enough of us to still end you. Kill him!" Following the geezer's war cry, all the ghosts that could still move rushed our boy at once. He just smirked, gripped his knife, and swung directly at the first ghost charging him. Sparks flew on impact. The ghost let out a blood-curdling scream and went flying back, its body sliced open and leaking essence. He kept slicing like a pro. Every ghost that dared get close got put on the chopping block. If these ghosts were fighting a normal cultivator, even in this state, the guy would be struggling to deal with their spells. But our boy is just melee spamming them, so he's not even breaking a sweat. With their souls already fractured, the ghosts just kept stumbling toward him like absolute fodder. Our boy didn't even need to use any fancy magic. He was just out here one-shotting ghosts like he was clocking into a 9-to-5 shift. Zero effort required. The Spirit Bureau agents watching from nearby were literally frozen in place, staring like NPCs. Bro wasn't even exercising ghosts anymore. He was out here acting like a mobster, clearing out a street gang, and he made it look casual. Jin Ye was literally gulping. He'd never seen ghosts handled like this. Bro really just opened up a whole new level of big bro energy. While everyone was still picking their jaws up off the floor, the ghosts in the graveyard started sweating bullets and backing off. Their bodies were getting blown to bits, and their souls were already weakening from the jump. So even though they kept rushing him, their attacks were basically pathetic, doing absolutely zero damage to our guy. But the blade in his hand? That thing was hitting with the force of a divine weapon. Plus, he's just built different. One swing, one ghost deleted. In the blink of an eye, he'd already wiped out more than half of the mob. Just like that, he's out here swinging a watermelon knife coated in pure energy, slashing from the east side of the graveyard all the way to the west. He didn't even blink. His eyes were drier than the Sahara, and he didn't care. In no time, a pile of ghost souls were on the ground whining and groaning. Not only were their bodies exploded, but they were all carved up and hurting. Even the white-haired ghost boss tried to go full berserk, but he almost got his arm sliced off for his trouble. Sure, the white-haired boss is supposed to be cracked, but his core is broken, and he's at his limit. How's he gonna touch our boy? After catching a blade to the face, the boss is on the floor crying for mommy, looking at him with nothing but pure regret in his eyes. If he'd known he was messing with this kind of absolute menace, he would have never started this fight. Well, look at him now. Bones shattered, soul getting wrecked by a blade, and in a heartbeat, not a single one of those 100+ ghosts could make it out alive. They were all crippled. And as the dust finally settled, there stood our guy, panting while dragging his knife. "Damn, I'm actually kinda gassed," he muttered, while the dozen agents nearby nearly fainted on the spot. Like, are you kidding me? He soloed 100 ghosts, and after all that, he's just complaining about being a little tired? Is this guy even human or what? Then, he calmly walked over to the red sedan chair, knife still in hand. By now, the ghost bride inside was so terrified. He knew this guy was cracked, but man, he didn't realize he was on this level of God mode. For the first time ever, she was actually terrified of a human being. Not even back when she met the legendary Taoist master Ninth Uncle 100 years ago did she feel this much dread. Seeing the ghost bride still standing there like a total NPC, probably stunned or just lagging in real life, our boy didn't even care, just walked up and snatched Su Meng straight out of the sedan. "You good, homie?" Su Meng shook her head, blinking those big eyes, looking like she couldn't process the situation. He went through all this massive trouble just to save her. Isn't this even more romantic and hype than riding a 7-colored cloud to pick her up? Just as Su Meng was deep in her feels, our boy locked eyes with the ghost bride in the red sedan. The ghost bride stared right back at him, her gaze looking straight up complicated. He stayed silent for a long beat, then let out a deep, heartfelt sigh. "Honestly, before I met you, that opening line alone was enough to set the mood perfectly." The ghost bride felt a shiver down her spine. She looked at him, thinking, This is it. He's about to drop some emotional wisdom. Sure enough, he looked up 45 degrees toward the sky. Before I met you, I really didn't think that my own self-imposed rules about letting people freeload like this actually existed. The ghost bride's face went stiff. She was trembling, feeling like she was having a heart attack. Then he sighed, shook his head slightly, and continued. Of course, what shocked me even more, the ghost bride looked at him with hope, thinking there was surely a plot twist coming, only to hear him say, what shocked me more is that after I freeloaded off you guys, there's actually a bounty for me to collect. The ghost bride's body jolted in pure rage, and she screamed in total despair, you absolute piece of trash! You're so shameless! She was absolutely destroyed, both mentally and physically. He just let out a goofy grin and walked away like a boss. Tonight's play really dealt a massive blow to the local ghost forces. Thinking about that, he muttered to himself. Spent all this energy dealing with these ghosts. The payout better be fat. Hehehe. Su Meng Er froze. This guy came to save me but didn't forget to grab the bounty? Or wait, let me correct that. He came for the bounty and just saved me on the side. Su Meng Er's beautiful face went rigid for a second, but then she just started giggling. I don't care. You saved me, so I'm officially sticking to you for the rest of my life. He frowned, turning to the pack of ghosts and said, how about you guys just kidnap her again? Before Su Meng Er could even process the threat, the ghosts were already scrambling away for their lives. Like hell they would. They got their graveyard blown up and got bodied once already, and now he wants them to go for round 2? Are they sure this isn't some twisted law enforcement sting operation? Under the terrified gaze of the ghosts, he walked out of the graveyard and headed straight for the spirit officers. A dozen spirit officers looked at him with nothing but pure reverence. Jin Ye couldn't even wait to speak. Tonight you and these ghosts were absolutely cracked. I'm gonna head back and petition for 100,000 reward for you. Since not all the ghosts in the graveyard were actually evil, the ones that didn't get busted and ended up getting wrecked like this could consider it their punishment. He kept a straight face on the outside, but inside he was buzzing with pure dopamine. This whole ordeal was definitely worth it, so thanks for the heavy lifting, guys. I'll leave the rest to you, I'm cooked. Catch you guys later. He yawned while walking away with Su Meng Er. After only 2 steps, he suddenly spun around and barked at the graveyard ghosts. Even though I already beat the living daylights out of you, you better come to my door and apologize in person tonight, or else, just watch what happens. Having said that, he swaggered off into the night. The ghosts were purple with rage, but not a single one dared to talk back. The next evening he grabbed his meat cleaver, ready to head out and snatch a few more ghosts for the grind. But the moment he opened the door he froze, because outside his house, 100 restless spirits were kowtowing in a massive, pitch-black crowd, all of them from the Dongshan graveyard, including the white-haired old ghost and the bride ghost. Every single ghost was there, and none of them dared to step out of line. It was clear these ghosts realized how serious things were. If they didn't come apologize nicely, heaven knows what kind of hell he'd put them through. Faced with absolute violence and this total freak of a bandit, they had no choice but to bow down. Behind the ghosts, several police cars were idling, and plenty of spirit officers were staring at him in sheer awe. It wasn't just the spirit officers. Not far off, there were Taoists, monks, and exorcists, all of them there just to watch the drama. Since they missed the spectacle last night, catching a whole army of ghosts apologizing was a solid consolation prize. Everyone watching the scene bowed down to him in their minds. This guy actually made a whole swarm of ghosts come to apologize. With this many spirits involved, this is about to become the legendary headline of the Hai Cheng supernatural underworld. Our boy stood there with his hands behind his back, casually asking the ghosts, so what's the deal? The Spirit Bureau didn't lock you losers up? Doesn't make much sense, right? At the very least, they should have slapped you with a charge for group fighting. The white-haired elder thought to himself, you call that group fighting? That was clearly a straight-up gang beating. The elder replied, the Spirit Bureau registered us, so we have to do some jail time, but they specifically gave us a chance to come here first. Didn't you say last night we'd be kneeling and apologizing today? Our boy finally remembered. Oh, true. Since your attitude is decent enough, you can get out of here. The whole squad of ghosts stood up and obediently climbed into the police car. The ghost bride stood up and glanced at him, her eyes filled with absolute terror. After the ghosts were hauled away, Jin Ye walked over holding a card. This is a Spirit Bureau badge they made for you, plus a 500k bonus for wiping out the Dongshan ghost-infested site. He took the cash, and since it was such a fat stack, he couldn't even bother pretending to be humble anymore. Big bro, the bureau chief wants me to pass on a message. Keep up the good work. He just gave a quick nod. Bet. I was just about to head out and save the world. Jin Ye chuckled. You're famous now, you know. The title, Professional Ghost Cleaner, is basically trending all over the Hai Cheng spirit scene. Is that so? I was so beat last night, I slept through the whole morning. Not just that, our bureau planned to swap the ghost-subduing sticks for watermelon knives, Sounds like they hit way harder. Man, that sounds like a terrible idea. A bunch of cops chasing ghosts down the street with watermelon knives? Doesn't that look a bit unhinged? You actually make a fair point. Alright, you get back to work. I've got some ghosts to go farm. Jin Ye had to go on patrol, so she dipped. Once she was gone, our boy's face lit up like a Christmas tree. He knew ghost busting paid well, but he never expected this level of bread. One run and he's got 500K. How many years would he have to rot in a factory to make that? Thinking about that, he doubled down on his plan to keep grinding ghosts for that sweet, sweet cash. Time to speedrun. Just as our boy was daydreaming about his bright future, a screechy voice suddenly cut through the air. Listen here, youngster. I've got a question for you. He whipped his head around, searching for the source. Who said that? Who's talking to me? Down here, look down, you blind fool. The voice chirped up again, and as he looked down, he saw some weird creature staring back at him with giant, creepy eyes. Holy crap, what kind of cat are you? Why is your neck so long? The creature looked stunned. Then its face did this uncanny, human-like expression of pure annoyance, opened its mouth, and actually started talking. Who you calling a cat? You're the damn cat here. Can't you tell? I'm a yellow weasel, you illiterate peasant. A yellow weasel that looks like a cat? Seriously? That's a first for me, honestly. Youngster, I'm asking you one question, and you better give me an honest answer. Fine, whatever. Come here. Get a bit closer and then ask. The weasel waddled a little closer. It crept forward a few more steps, thinking, fine. I'll just answer his question. Why are you being so weird about the distance? This is honestly bizarre. Back in the day, the elders always said that even top-tier cultivators would be terrified of a weasel asking for, Feng, it's bad juju. So why is this guy not running away? He's not even scared of the ritual. He's literally inviting the weasel over. Something is definitely sus about this dude. The weasel leaned in, whispering, Youngster, do I look like? He cut the creature off. You answer my question first. The weasel paused, thinking, yeah. This guy is definitely built different. Why is he the one asking the questions? So it snapped. I spoke first, so I ask first. He shook his head. Nope. My turn first, or I'm not saying a word. Are you drunk? Or just stupid? Open your eyes and look at who you're dealing with. I'm the great immortal weasel. You dare threaten me? If you're gonna be like that, I'm leaving. Wait, okay fine, you go first, you go first. He smirked, leaning in. So, be honest. Do I look like a good guy, or a total villain to you? The weasel scanned him up and down. Not gonna lie, your vibe is straight up peak villain energy. Bet. He nodded, but the Huang PZ hurried to say, my turn? So do I look like? Wait, don't rush, I've got one more question. Doesn't the police station have a reward policy for turning in demons and spirits? If I catch you and hand you over to the spirit bureau, do I get a payout? The Huang PZ furrowed its brows, thinking hard. I guess there might be. He chuckled. Good enough. At this point, the Huang PZ still didn't realize how screwed it was, wondering why this guy was asking such weird questions. In his eyes, the look of confusion on its face meant it was already prey. Still naive, the Huang PZ asked, Can I ask you now? Do I look like a human or a god to you? He laughed. You look like 10,000 bucks, and you're walking on 2 legs. The Huang PZ stood there stunned, still not getting the joke, when suddenly he stepped up, pointed a melon knife at it, and said, Congrats, you've just been kidnapped. Better not resist, or I'll turn you into sushi with one swing. The Huang PZ stared at him with wide, confused eyes. Wait, you're kidnapping me? No duh, you said I look like a bandit. What else am I supposed to do? But I'm a demon. No wait. I'm the great Huang Immortal. I'm an immortal. How dare you try to kidnap me? I don't care what you are, I'm bagging you today. So quit the yapping. Otherwise, this blade is gonna make you go cold for real. He wasn't here to coddle this weasel, while the Huang PZ was left in total shock, stuttering in pure disbelief. This is totally different from what I imagined. They said when I showed up, you humans would be pissing your pants and begging for mercy. They said asking for offerings was easy. Were the elders just straight up lying to me? Turns out the human world is actually this dangerous. The city has too many schemes. I want to go home. The city isn't the problem, my IQ is. First time kidnapping a demon. Not gonna lie, I'm kinda hyped. But my hands are shaking. Give me a sec to chill. Where are you taking me anyway? You aren't planning to sell me off, are you? Or do you want to sell my organs or something? Keep dreaming. Who'd even want to buy a scrub like you? What use is a weasel like you anyway? Actually, my fur is worth something, right? This fur is 100% authentic premium quality, bro. He was speechless, just letting the creature know he's not interested in skinning it for a pelt. Then why'd you grab me? Don't tell me you're gonna make me work for you? I've heard about those shady sweatshops that work people for 10 hours a day and don't even pay up. The weasel imagined being locked in a dark room, screwing in bolts forever, and his fur stood straight up in pure terror. Alright, quit the dramatic fanfiction in your head, okay? I'm taking you to lock you up in a cell. You know, prison? Jail? The moment those words dropped, the weasel looked like he'd been struck by lightning, but our guy was done listening to its yapping. Just in time, they reached the spirit police station, so he dragged the weasel right inside. A spirit officer walked up real quick, "Sup, what do you need?" The officer clocked the weasel immediately and got into a defensive stance. "Caught myself a little monster. Here to collect the bounty." The officer looked at him with major respect and asked, "Are you Chen Ziye?" "Chen Ziye." He chuckled. "Just a fake reputation anyway. Hang tight. I'll hit up Jinye. She's the spirit officer officially assigned to your file." As soon as he said that, he dialed Jinye. Jinye sprinted over. "Not surprised you're my idol? I barely left your side for 5 minutes, and you already bagged another monster?" The weasel panicked. "I'm Master Huang. Don't you dare throw me in the slammer." Jinye asked him, "What kind of crimes has this thing committed? I need to log it." He glared at the weasel and barked, "Well? What trashy stuff have you actually done?" The weasel started sweating bullets, stuttering. I've never done anything bad, I swear. Impossible." "Like, did you swear at people, pee in public, spit on the sidewalk, or steal candy from babies?" "Those all count." He was desperate to make sure his hard-earned monster-catching bounty didn't go down the drain. But the weasel kept doubling down. "Nope, never done it." "You're a literal beast that's never even touched a toilet. Who you trying to scam, bro?" "There's a public restroom in the village at the foot of the mountain. I sneak down there every night, do my business, and even wash my hands after." He just stared in total shock, like, what the actual hell? This mountain demon uses public toilets? Are monsters these days really that civilized? No way. If you haven't done anything evil, how am I supposed to collect my bounty? After saying that, he caught Jinye's weird vibe and let out an awkward, embarrassed cough. "I mean, if I drag you in without you actually doing anything wrong, people are going to think I'm just a fraud hunting demons for quick cash." Huang Pizi was on the verge of tears, whining, "Wait, isn't that literally what you're doing?" Jinye felt a bit awkward. Catching such a famous demon just to let him walk seemed like a massive L for his record. Jinye stepped up and said, "She's going to interrogate Huang Pizi. That way we can confirm once and for all if this guy is actually innocent." So Jinye looked at Huang Pizi and asked, "First things first, before you showed up in Haicheng, where were you hiding?" "I lived in the Dongshan Mountains outside Haicheng. Besides my bathroom runs, I never left the mountain, so how could I have hurt anyone?" "Definitely not. Before I hit Haicheng, I barely even saw a human being." Huang Pizi sounded way too chill about it. Jinye was suddenly at a total loss for what to ask next. Usually, they have hard evidence of some demon causing chaos before they make an arrest. But today he's literally out here asking for a background check on a random spirit. She looked at him and said, "Looks like we can't actually lock him up." He felt pretty helpless. The guy is a law-abiding demon. He can't just throw him in the slammer for no reason. So he sighed and said, "Alright, my bad. I definitely got the wrong guy. Big bro Ziye, I know you're obsessed with clapping these evil spirits, but keep your cool. I've got it covered. Let's leave it at that. For tonight, I'm gonna go patrol a bit more and see if any other ghosts are acting up." "Copy that, big bro Ziye. Take care." Jinye watched him leave with a smirk. Huang Pizi blinked his big eyes and asked Jinye, "So I'm off the hook for jail, right?" "Yeah, but listen, if you ever step out of line, you're going straight to the clink, especially since you're a Huang Pizi. Don't you dare use that. Seeking praise, trick, to threaten or hurt people, or you're absolutely cooked." Hearing that, Huang Pizi just froze. If he tries that trick, and someone calls him a human, his cultivation is toast, so he can't just ignore it. And if the person calls him a god, they're forced to worship him, which causes nothing but drama. So yeah, trouble is basically inevitable, which means if he keeps fishing for people to praise him, he's definitely going to end up a criminal. Huang Pizi had absolutely no idea what to do now. Turns out reality is way more of a headache than the legends make it seem. Word on the street from the other weasels was that descending the mountain for a blessing ceremony was a total breeze. Everyone's getting worshipped, living their best cultivation life, but when it's finally his turn, he gets kidnapped the second he hits the ground. Nearly spent time in a jail cell, and now he's catching heat from a warning. We're all the same species, so why is this guy's luck so trash? He's so heartbroken, he's literally sobbing his eyes out. Jinye didn't expect this weasel to start crying, and couldn't help but ask, "Why the waterworks, bro? I'm just so pathetic." The weasel sobbed, turned away in misery, but then spotted Jinye up ahead and decided to chase him down. Jinye realized he was being followed, spun around and barked, "What do you want?" "I don't know where else to go. Can you take me in?" "Take you in? I'm out here struggling to pay my own rent. You think I can afford to feed your goofy tail? Do you think water is free? But I can help you make some serious bank." Jinye was stunned. "You're gonna help me get rich? What are you gonna do, sell your fur?" The weasel shook his head. "Can't I just get a 9to5? That's wild. Since when do monsters have day jobs? What kind of work? Working for who? Who's gonna hire a freaking weasel?" Jinye was definitely smelling some BS. "I know a monster girl. She's a fox spirit. She's out there making money in the city, and told me if I ever made it to the city, I could crash with her. You got a monster plug, so why aren't you going to her instead of bothering me? I need to reach immortal rank, so I need a human blessing and someone to build a shrine for me." "So you want me to bless you, build you a shrine, and bow down to your furry face?" "Yeah, and how about I feed you 3 meals a day, lay out tea and wine, and worship you morning, noon, and night. That sound good. The weasel's eyes lit up as he spoke with pure hype. For real? Jin Ye pulled a massive fruit knife from his back, staring down the weasel with straight-up murder in his eyes. Obviously, I'm being dead serious. You want to test that theory, bro? Huang Pizi shrunk back, gulping down his fear. Forget it. Don't you need your 3 square meals and the fancy wine and fruits? Nah, no need. You're being way too polite. What about demanding I worship and kowtow to you then? Nope. Absolutely not. I was just trolling. So no shrine or altar for you either? Not a chance. Keep dreaming. Get lost. Come on, man. Don't be like that. Setting up a shrine for me isn't even that hard. I can help you stack that paper, big bro. Huang Pizi muttered, knowing he's basically forced to beg this guy at this point. Since the Jin Yi realm explicitly forbade him from using his spirit powers to harm people, he paused for a sec, thinking if this critter could actually make money, maybe keeping it around wasn't such a bad play. So he asked, "Are you telling me a demon can actually generate income? What about that fox spirit of yours? What's her hustle?" Wait, you said she does what now? He rolled his eyes. Yeah, she's a hooker. Exactly, and she's absolutely killing it in the game, making bank. Bro, are you actually hearing yourself right now? Yeah, no shit, that job makes money. That's what you call a demon career path? I thought you were gonna drop some motivational Sigma grind set, but you're just talking about selling out. He honestly couldn't believe his ears. Like, she's a fox spirit, even in the city. Surely there's better work than turning tricks, right? She only knows how to do that, so that's all she does. I was actually planning on apprenticing under her. Holy hell, you're a dude. How are you gonna learn that trade? Just find a real job. He was speechless. Society is truly in the gutter, if even demons have lost their damn minds. But then he realized, humans get locked up for this, and demons doing it is definitely illegal too. Gotta put a stop to this nonsense. I'll just snatch that fox spirit, pocket her earnings, and turn her over to the cops for the bounty. With that evil plan in mind, he looked at Huang Pizi and asked, "Let me go check it out. She's running a shady shop tucked away in a quiet alley. Let's roll. I'll show you where she's hiding." Huang Pizi started leading the way like a total simp, taking a deep breath. It's pathetic. It's wild. Wait. Not for the money, but for justice. He's got to go investigate this properly. So he followed Huang Pizi through a few streets until they finally hit a dead-end alley. The fox waifu is in here. He looked around and scoffed, knowing full well this wasn't a legit business. Just as he was yapping, he saw a girl with an absolute S-tier physique ahead, sporting cute fox ears on her head while walking and counting up a stack of small change. He couldn't even see her face yet, but just look at that build. Those long legs and exposed arms are proof enough that this girl is a top-tier beauty. Then he caught her mumbling to herself, $320. Worked my tail off all day. Brought home the bag, heh. Hearing that, our boy was shook. A gorgeous yokai working like a slave all day just for $300? Is the market rate for this gig really that trash nowadays? Has it actually hit rock bottom like this? Guess no job is easy money after all. He sighed to himself. But he wasn't feeling even a sliver of sympathy for this fox waifu. So he stomped over and barked at her. "Freeze, right there." The fox girl froze and looked at him. "Sorry, I'm closed. If you need service, come back tomorrow." Our boy's eyes went wide. "What are you talking about? I'm not that kind of guy. Don't go spouting nonsense." Without missing a beat, he whipped out a melon-chopping blade, pressed it against her, and snatched those $300 right out of her hands. "I'm confiscating this dirty money for your own good." The fox waifu was stunned, her fair hands trembling, looking at him with those pathetic, teary fox eyes. "What are you doing? Why are you robbing me?" "I'm robbing you, so what? Are you gonna cry because I took your dirty money?" He shouted aggressively, and the fox waifu's eyes started welling up. You're just a straight-up thief and a liar. Look, I'm a bandit. You think I'm just gonna donate to your charity fund?" Just then, Huang Bizi rushes over like, "Bro, what are you doing? Why are you robbing her? And why are you pointing a knife at her?" "Because she's a pro, so I'm seizing her cash and dragging her to the slammer." Huang Bizi is straight up shook. "Wait, being a pro is illegal? Since when? You really asking if it's illegal to be a streetwalker? You tell me, genius." He huffs, while Huang Bizi stares back in disbelief. Human rules are so cooked, why is everything illegal? At this, Hu Jian jumps in. "On what grounds am I breaking the law?" "I'm not buying it." "Not buying it? Fine, tell me, what's your hustle?" "I run a chicken shop." "Say what? Not only are you a sketchy operator, you run a literal chicken shack? That's even worse. Take me to your shop. I need evidence." Learned my lesson from Huang Bizi last time. This time, he's making sure he has the receipts before calling in Jin Ye. So, Hu Xian leads him to a storefront, unlocks the door, and they head inside. He steps in, eyes bulging. Holy crap, it's actually a literal chicken shop. There's a glass roaster with dozens of seasoned chickens hanging, ready for the grill tomorrow, plus a giant pot of braised chicken and tubs of deep-fried goodness. Long story short, the whole place is just raw poultry waiting to be cooked. He gulps, looks at Hu Xian and goes, "So you really just sell chicken? What did you think I meant?" Hu Xian gives him a blank, confused stare. Huang Bizi is just as lost, staring at him. He coughs awkwardly. I I thought it was the other kind of chicken. Hu Xian and Huang Bizi blink in total confusion, staring at him suspiciously. The other kind? What are you talking about? He's so embarrassed he wishes the ground would just swallow him whole. Damn. These two demons are way too innocent for this world. First he framed Huang Bizi, and now he's out here having the wrong idea about the fox spirit. My bad. Truly. Total misunderstanding here. With that, he tossed the $3 million back to the fox spirit. Fox spirit took the cash and chuckled. Oh, so it was all just a misunderstanding? In that case, we're cool. He thought to himself. Is this spirit actually this simple-minded? We're just gonna let this slide? Not even gonna ask for the reason behind it? Whether other spirits are this naive is up for debate. But this fox spirit is definitely built different. She actually dropped the issue and turned to the yellow weasel. Hey brother Huang, how come you still can't take human form? Heh, I'm grinding the incense path so I need offerings and prayers to level up. That's why I came down the mountain. So is this little bro here your worshipper? The fox spirit looked his way, and mentioning that made the yellow weasel look devastated. This dude refuses to worship me, won't even set up a shrine for me. He scoffed. Bro, I don't owe you anything. I already said I'd give you the money I make. Isn't that basically worship? The yellow weasel retorted. He went quiet for a sec, then dropped a bombshell. How about this? I can take you in and even set up a shrine in my house, but you're paying for rent, utilities, and maybe even the electricity bill. The yellow weasel stood there buffering. Wait, what the hell? Everything costs money? Who's actually worshiping who here? The fox spirit chimed in. Little brother, why don't you just worship him and let him help you with work? He smirked. Help me with work? What could a furry like that possibly do? Do you even know what I do for a living? The fox spirit shook her head, and he replied, I'm Chen Ziye, the legendary bandit Ziye, the guy who goes out at night to clap the cheeks of rogue ghosts and demons. The fox spirit looked totally shook. Wait, what? You're the bandit something or other? Never heard of you. She pouted, looking completely clueless. He immediately dropped the act. The legendary bandit Z. Have I really become that famous? In the last 2 days? Never heard of you, honestly. You don't keep up with the news? I do, and there's an even bigger headline dropping tonight. Apparently some wild stuff went down on the east side of the city last night. Bro put his hands on his hips and smugly said, Exactly. So now do you see how dangerous I am? The news says some lowlife poisoned a massive chicken farm out east, so poultry prices are about to skyrocket. How much more am I going to have to pay to restock tomorrow? And this has what to do with me exactly? The hands on his hips slowly started to slide down. Man, I literally can't deal with you right now. See ya, kid, Hu Xian hurriedly said. Wait, don't leave yet. Since you're already here, why don't you let me treat you to some chicken? He froze for a second, then agreed. After tasting Hu Xian's cooking, it was already midnight, so he had to bounce to hunt some ghosts and couldn't hang around any longer. Huang Bizi didn't dare ask anyone else for the cultivation ritual, so he decided to just stalk our guy no matter what. He didn't agree right away though. He figured he might as well put Huang Bizi to good use. I mean, he is a legendary bandit after all. Recruiting a demon lackey actually makes perfect sense. But first, he had to test if this demon sidekick was even worth it. If this dude can actually bring him some value or profit, maybe he's worth keeping around. With that in mind, he told Huang Bizi behind him, If you want to follow me, you gotta put in the work. No issues. I can handle that. Hu Xian, who just locked up her shop, tagged along too. Hey big bro, what do you even want him to follow you for? To go on a robbery spree, obviously. Robbery? I'm a master thief. What else would we be doing if you're following me? Gonna go screw in some bolts instead? Hu Xian looked at Huang Bizi, and he reassured her. Don't trip, I'm just robbing the evil spirits and demons that are causing trouble. I'm not doing anything sketchy. Oh, alright then, Hu Xian said, finally feeling at ease. He didn't say another word, leading Huang Bizi and Hu Xian through the streets, until he spotted a figure hopping around up ahead. Yo, what exactly is that thing up there? He asked Huang Bizi. Huang Bizi took one look and said, Looks like a zombie. They're common in the mountains, but who would have guessed one would wander into the city? A zombie, huh? His eyes lit up. Does that mean the zombie's tomb is probably packed with antiques and loot? Huang Bizi was stunned. I guess so. He immediately gave chase, screaming for it to stop, and the zombie froze before turning around. Only then did he realize it was a female zombie. The zombie girl stared him down, clearly shocked that some dude was out at night, let alone bold enough to tell a zombie to stop. Thinking fast, she bared her fangs and hissed, probably trying to scare him off. But she didn't expect that the second she bared her teeth, our boy was already charging with a melon-slicing knife in hand. She was definitely rattled, but being scared was useless now, because she couldn't even react in time, and that blade was already pressed right against her throat. Even though she didn't believe a trash-tier kitchen knife could actually hurt her, his pure, suffocating aura had her frozen stiff, unable to move a muscle. Tell me, why are you sneaking out of your tomb at night instead of staying put? Getting yelled at like that, the zombie girl hesitated before raspy words left her throat. I just wanted to find some blood. Find blood? How exactly? You think people are just casually dropping puddles of blood on the street for you to find? This is the first time I've ever heard someone say they're out for a blood run. I'm not looking for puddles, I'm looking for people, the zombie girl replied. He flared up. Knew you weren't up to anything good. You really snuck out just to drain people dry. Listen here, you're cornered by the boss now. Surrender peacefully and head to the Spirit Bureau with me, or I'm ending you right here. Of course, you still have a chance to redeem yourself. Lead me straight to your tomb, hand over all the rare loot, and maybe I'll go easy on you. The zombie girl blinked, confused. I don't hurt people. You're sneaking around at night looking for blood? And you say you don't hurt people? The zombie girl struggled to explain. When I find people, I only take a little. I don't take their lives. With that, she pulled a giant syringe out of her rags. The needle was massive and stained with old blood. You could tell she'd done this plenty of times. He was absolutely floored. You don't bite people? You use this thing to pump their blood for a drink? Exactly. That way you don't catch a body. And even if the Spirit Bureau catches you, you've got an excuse. The zombie girl replied. Our boy's eyes went wide, straight up stunned by the logic. Bro really said if there's a policy, there's a workaround. But he wasn't letting that slide on his watch. You're out here draining people's blood? You think they signed up for that? The zombie girl just stood there, brain buffering. And another thing, when was the last time you changed that needle? Is this even sanitary? If you give someone a disease because you're too lazy to clean your gear, who's taking the fall for that? He kept laying it out. These are actual problems. You can't just loophole your way out of basic hygiene. The zombie girl looked at the needle like, bro, I'm broke. I haven't changed this thing since forever. So you're literally still breaking the law, clown. So what do you want me to do? What do I want? Did you even listen to a word I just said? Take me to your tomb, hand over the loot, and then go turn yourself in. If I give you the loot, I'm still going to jail. Then there's literally no difference if I give it to you or not. Oh, there's a massive difference. You hand it over, you don't catch these hands, you keep it, you're getting folded. The zombie girl sneered. What makes you think you can threaten me? I'm not taking you to the tomb, and I'm definitely not going to jail. What are you gonna do about it? You think you can actually win a fight against me? He just smirked, looking like a total menace. 1 minute later, he sheathed his melon slicer. The zombie girl scrambled off the ground, bowing low. Let's head to my tomb. I'll lead the way, my lord. Turns out, a quick beatdown is the best way to teach a zombie some manners. She was suddenly very eager to show him the way to her burial site. She was rocking full Qing dynasty fit, which probably isn't worth much cash, but hey, a look is a look. Before long, he followed her deep into the mountains on the outskirts of the city. The night is crawling with demons and creeps, and the mountains are basically a death trap. But our guy isn't sweating it at all. Huang Pizi and the Fox Immortal are demons themselves. After hitting the mountain, the zombie girl keeps pushing deeper into the woods, eventually finding a decent spot with good feng shui and leading him to a hidden Tomb Raider tunnel, claiming this was all left behind by some grave-robbing pros. With that, she dives in first, and our boy follows right behind her like a shadow. The tomb isn't exactly a mansion. They skip the entrance path entirely and head straight for the main chamber. The main room has an open coffin surrounded by some burial trinkets. Real antiques, but honestly, pretty much worthless. Is this it? He's clearly not feeling the loot. Zombie girl gets all nervous and says, there's gold and jewels inside the coffin. He steps up for a look, and sure enough, there's a pile of gold bars and some sparkly jewelry. I guess you aren't lying, but taking this stuff isn't grave robbing, it's a consensual transaction, get it? And trust me taking your stash is basically just me finding your ass. With that, he shamelessly stuffs every single piece of loot from the coffin into his own storage room. At this point, zombie girl speaks up timidly. You've got the loot now, so we're good, right? Good? Bro, you really think it's that easy? You drained my blood without asking? Using a dirty-ass needle, you think you're off the hook just by paying a measly fine? So, what else do you want? Turning me into the Spirit Bureau for a 10,000 yuan bounty? I mean, handing you over keeps you from terrorizing more people later, doesn't it? Don't think I'm stupid. You just want my burial goods for the cash, she cries. And now you want to trade me in for the bounty too? You're a total bandit. Zombie girl is fuming, and he just glares right back at her. Say that again? Bandit, you say? I'm a master thief. There's a difference. Stop spouting nonsense, you're annoying. Zombie girl panics and asks, how much is the bounty anyway? 10,000 yuan. Zombie girl goes silent for a second, then suddenly pulls another gold bar out of thin air. Is this enough? Trying to settle this under the table, huh? Exactly. Zombie girl nods. He pauses, then says, I have one condition. What condition? You stop randomly hunting people down to drain their blood. But then what am I supposed to drink? Jiang Tiannu was stunned, and he said, I don't owe you any debt of blood, so what gives you the right to drain mine? Well, I don't owe you anything either. Didn't you already loot every single piece of my gold and jewels? The zombie girl shot back, but she felt the danger instantly, backed down like a coward, and changed her tune. So how am I supposed to drink blood from now on? He thought for a second and said, just pay at the hospital for some expired blood. But I'm broke. You're really not cut out for this. Look at that fox spirit over there. She's a monster too. but she's a self-made queen running her own shop making hundreds of yuans a day. The fox spirit instantly blushed, bowed her head, and muttered, "I'm not actually that good." Hearing that, Jiang Tiannu said, "But I have no clue how to make money." "What are you even good at?" "I know how to suck blood," Jiang Tiannu replied. "Anything else besides that?" Jiang Tiannu thought for a long time, then shook her head, and he sighed. "You are genuinely the most useless person I've ever met." That's when Huang Pizi spoke up. "You two should take her in and make her work for you." He glared at Huang Pizi. "I haven't even decided if I want to keep your bum around yet, and you're out here telling me to recruit her? Why would I even take her in? To suck blood? Does this look like a hospital to you?" Huang Pizi got scolded and stammered out. "Everyone has some value. If the fox spirit can run a chicken shop and make bank, who says she can't do the same?" Don't look now, but that actually sparked an idea in his head. Since he's already a professional bandit, he might as well scale up his operations. That way, making money would be way easier. Thinking about it, he grinned and looked at the zombie girl with a completely different vibe. You could see him taking the money from her hand, and he said, "Actually, you're not entirely useless. Tell you what, come work for me and I'll put you on the payroll." "How about it? Work as what?" "As my underling. You can help me with the usual looting and raiding. Obviously, I can expand the business. Maybe open a store or a workshop. You can just work there." He's finally got the confidence to talk big now, because he's currently sitting on hundreds of thousands, hitting up monsters at night to trade them in for bounty money and stuff. Trying to grind for cash like this is way less efficient than just running a business, so if he actually opens a shop or factory later, he can just put the zombie girl to work. Thinking about that, he low-key feels like he's got a massive master plan for the future. "So how much are you paying me every month?" "We'll crunch the numbers later, but you're definitely getting a few grand, though how much blood that buys is a question for the hospital." As soon as he dropped that line, the zombie girl paused for a second, and then nodded. "Fine, I'm in, I'll work for you." He nodded in satisfaction. "Nice, let's head back to the city." With that, he leads his two new recruits and the little fox spirit fangirl back into the city. But the moment they roll in, he spots a water ghost by the lake trying to drag some poor girl under. Seeing that, his eyes light up. Isn't this just a fresh payday walking right into his trap? He immediately charges in, screaming at it to let the girl go. The man is literally suffering from success, running into 3 demons back to back, but since their rap sheets weren't long enough to cash in at the spirit police station for a bounty, he ended up stuck adopting a golden weasel and a zombie girl, turning them into his own personal lackeys. But now that he's finally found a ghost actually trying to kill someone, there's no way he's letting this one slide. He lets out a war cry, startling the ghost, who turns around to see a decent-looking dude charging at her while holding a watermelon knife. The ghost is stunned for a sec, but she snaps out of it real quick, glaring and barking at him. "Get lost. Stop being a hero and mind your business. You're ruining my chance to find a substitute. I'll kill you." She really shouldn't have opened her mouth. The moment she said that, he got even more hyped up. Searching for a substitute? That's basically just premeditated murder, right? This ghost is definitely 100% looking at a life sentence. If she actually succeeded, it wouldn't even be a crime to have her soul scattered to the winds. Thinking that, he bellows, "You still want to find a substitute? Go rot in jail, you freak." With that, he sprints at her even faster than before. The ghost is clearly feeling homicidal too. She crawls halfway out of the water and lunges straight for his throat. In her mind, she's thinking, this clown thinks he can flex on a ghost with a kitchen knife? But as it lunged at him, it caught sight of the 3 shadows lurking right behind him. Taking a closer look, there was a hopping zombie, a golden weasel walking on 2 legs, and a girl with actual fox ears on her head. This squad rolling up together made our boy look 10 times more menacing. The ghost girl isn't stupid, so she immediately realized this mob wasn't just some random NPCs, not to mention the guy holding a watermelon cutting knife, but the zombie girl, the fox-eared waifu, and the golden weasel were definitely not targets for a low-tier ghost like her to mess with. Even though she's a spirit, she's never seen a lineup of zombies and demons this weird, so she panicked and dipped, booking it straight toward the lake to vanish. Seeing that, our guy wasn't about to let this trash escape so easily. He floored it, channeled his internal energy into that watermelon knife, and hacked out a ruthless strike. With a clean swing, a faint blade aura slashed right into the ghost girl's back. That's when the ghost finally realized this dude was a cultivator. She panicked, spun around, and desperately threw up a shield of ghost energy. A loud boom echoed out, and while she blocked the blade aura, the impact still sent her soul trembling to its core, slamming her hard into the ground by the lake. Once she hit the ground, the ghost glared at the paralyzed girl nearby, grabbed her leg, and started dragging her toward the water. Clearly, she's trying to take a hostage down to the afterlife with her. Seeing that, our hero lunged forward, putting everything he had into a desperate jump. Just as she was about to fall in, he grabbed her hand and yelled, "Hold on, don't let go!" The girl in the school uniform was pale with terror, but she obeyed, gripping his left hand tight while he locked onto hers. Turns out, the ghost girl was just a standard water spirit. Once in the water, her power level spiked. She poked her head up and snarled, "Kid, You love playing the hero, huh? Then come down here and stay with me forever. With that, she yanked even harder on the girl's leg. The girl felt the agonizing pull and couldn't help but scream in pain. He frowned, but there was zero chance he was letting go, because the moment his grip slipped, the girl was getting dragged into the abyss, and it would be game over, no cap. Thinking fast, he looked back at the zombie girl behind him. He barked at the fox girl and the weasel. Why are you just standing there? Get over here and help me pull. The fox waifu was the first to react. Her slender legs coiled up, and she launched herself into action. She launched herself into the air, did a clean flip, and landed right next to him. Without missing a beat, Yu waved her hand, unleashing a blast of crimson demon energy that slammed into the water with a massive. But that water demon was slippery as heck, moving at lightning speed while keeping its claws buried deep in the girl's leg. It didn't mind killing her right there, because if she drowned, it could still use her as its replacement ghost. Suddenly, the golden weasel joined the party, claws extending instantly as it lunged straight at the demon lurking under the surface. The water demon dodged it easily, smirking, "I'm the king of the water, you clowns can't touch me down here." Lol. The zombie girl leaped in too, extending her claws to grab the girl, signaling our boy to go finish the job. She had the rescue mission covered. He nodded, dove straight into the water, and charged at the demon with his blade drawn. You say you're invincible underwater? I don't buy it. Let's put that to the test. The demon didn't expect him to be this reckless, actually daring to fight a waterborne entity in its own home turf. While it was still shook, he landed a clean slash on its arm. The demon had already seen what that blade could do, and was forced to let go of the girl. The second it let go, the zombie girl yanked the victim right out of the water. The water demon went absolutely ballistic, ready to drag our boy down to the depths, but he wasn't even sweating, swinging his blade like he was chopping watermelons, going full-on berserk mode. The demon got super cautious, honestly intimidated by his sheer aura, but after swinging a few times, he suddenly did a 180, scrambled out of the lake as fast as his legs could carry him, and hopped back onto the shore. The water demon was left staring in pure confusion. Once on land, he cracked his shoulders and muttered, "Damn, underwater combat is a cardio workout I didn't sign up for." He looked at the demon and chirped, "I'm strong, not stupid. Fighting you underwater would be a massive brain rot move. I'll give you one chance. Get your butt up here." The demon, now seeing red, screamed back, "You think I'm an idiot? I'm staying right here. What are you going to do about it?" He rolled his eyes. "What am I going to do? Buckle up, because I'm about to show you exactly how we handle trash like you." With that, he turned to the zombie waifu and told her, "Follow me, and grab that water pump. I want to see if I can get some work done with this thing tonight." He totally ignored the water ghost, told the fox spirit and the golden ferret to keep watch, then dipped with his zombie girl. By the time they hauled themselves back, the zombie girl was literally hopping along while carrying a heavy-duty water pump like it weighed nothing. She wasn't even breaking a sweat. Back at the pond, the water ghost was still clueless, watching her drag this chunk of metal over without realizing he was about to get cooked. So the ghost just kept talking trash. "Kid, you actually had the guts to come back? HMPH. Think you found a way to beat me? Haha, come on then, jump in the water. Let's see what you're gonna do about it." Our boy just smirked and told the ghost, "Living or dead, don't get too arrogant, you're literally digging your own grave." The ghost laughed like a maniac. "Ha, are you trying to lecture me? If you're so tough, get in the water. Talking big from the bank is easy, isn't it? Kid, you gotta be fuming right now, right? Really want to scatter my soul into thin air, huh? Too bad you're too weak to do anything about it." He didn't even waste breath on a comeback. He set the pump up, shoved the intake hose into the pond, and aimed the output toward the nearby lawn. The lawn was huge and the pond was tiny. That water was going to vanish into the dirt in no time. With everything ready, he just cranked the pump to life. It was a diesel-powered beast, sucking water out of that pond like it was nothing. The second it roared to life, the ghost froze. Clearly, he didn't expect our boy to pull such a toxic move. The vibe at the scene instantly went from chill to, "Oh, damn." The ghost watched in horror as the water level started dropping like a failing crypto portfolio. Within 30 minutes, the water was only waist deep for the ghost, and 20 minutes later, the pond was basically a dry crater. There was only a tiny puddle left right where the ghost was standing, but our boy walked up, staring down the panicking ghost, and sucked that last bit of water until the ground was bone dry. Once it was dry, he pulled out a mop from nowhere and started scrubbing the ground right under the ghost's feet. The ghost looked on in pure terror. This guy was straight up evil, leaving absolutely no room for mercy. By now, the ghost was already regretting every life. After literally drying out the entire lake, our boy turned his gaze toward the water spirit. The spirit stammered, "Look, I admit my voice was a bit loud when I was down there, but you didn't have to drain the whole lake, bro. For real, I was already terrified when you only drained half of it." As she said this, the expression on her face was basically falling apart. He glared at her. "You call that just a bit loud? I know I was acting like a total brat before. If I offended you, please, I'm begging you, don't hold a grudge. I'm apologizing right here, but sorry, it's way too late. I'm currently in a very bad mood. As he said that, he grabbed her by the hair and slammed her face into the dirt, while his other hand condensed pure essence into a massive, glowing fist, and with a savage roar, he unleashed a punch the size of a wrecking ball, raining blow after blow on this girl, leaving her mentally and physically shattered, to the point where she didn't even have the confidence to fight back, reduced to nothing but pathetic, high-pitched screams. The scene left the Golden Weasel trembling, the zombie queen shaking her head in disbelief, and both of them realized just how terrifying our guy really is. After beating her for what felt like an eternity, he finally let her go and tossed her onto the ground like a sack of trash. Only then did he pull out his phone to make a call. Yo, Jin-Ye. I'm at Chengshi Road. Get over here. There's a water spirit causing trouble. After he hung up, the water spirit slowly crawled up from the dirt, looking at him with eyes full of pure, unadulterated terror, filled with fear, despair, and sheer disbelief at what she just went through. A few moments later, a police car pulled up. Jin-Ye stepped out, leading 2 spirit cops toward them. Our guy, Ye-Chen, gave a casual nod. Jin-Ye looked shocked. Oh, the Golden Weasel is here too? And who is this zombie chick? Which one is the water spirit? The weasel is with me now. The zombie is too. Jin-Ye pointed at the water spirit and asked, is this the one? Yeah. Our boy nodded, pointing at the girl. And she's the victim. The girl immediately piped up. This water spirit tried to drag me under. Right, Jin-Ye said, looking around with a confused expression. But where the hell is the water? Hearing the word water, the water ghost just started laughing like a maniac. Water, you say? Where the hell are you gonna find water now? Bro literally pumped the place dry and is still asking for water. I'm a water ghost, and I don't even have any water left. Jin-Ye looked at the tweaking ghost, frowned, and said, what is your problem? My problem? I want water. My water is all gone. He sucked it all dry. Hee, you got any water on you? Is your supply good? Hook a girl up, would ya? The ghost started creeping toward Jin-Ye while yapping. Jin-Ye didn't even flinch, pulling out handcuffs to lock up this crazy broad. Before long, the unhinged ghost was tossed into the back of the car. Then Jin-Ye grabbed the reward money and said to him, Big boss, this ghost lady seems to have lost her mind because you bullied her too hard. He was speechless. Is the mental health of ghosts these days really that fragile? After taking the bounty, he exchanged a few words with Jin-Ye, and once she left, he looked at the zombie girl, pretty satisfied with how she performed tonight, so he said, you, keep the pump and follow me. Then looked at the Golden Weasel and added, you aren't half bad either. I guess I'll keep you around for now. Both of you are working for me from now on. The Golden Weasel was hyped, and Miss Huxian was happy for him too. Listen up, the only rule when you're rolling with me is we're chasing that bag. In this economy, money is the only thing that matters. Our main quest is straight up stacking cash. The Golden Weasel and the zombie girl both nodded in agreement. The zombie girl especially understood, since she needs that money for her blood supply. Money is basically her lifeline. No cash, no blood. It's that simple. So the zombie girl spoke up. If every job is as easy as tonight, then I'm down. He smiled, satisfied. Good, I like your attitude. That's a wrap for tonight. Let's head out. After that, our boy led the lady zombie and the Golden Weasel back to his place. The fox spirit had her own house, so she didn't tag along. Once home, he cleared out a spot in the wardrobe for the lady zombie to crash. She told him she doesn't need to lie down, just having a place to stand is fine. The wardrobe fit her perfectly. And just then, the weasel ran over, asking, Yo, Shuli, what about my spirit tablet? Just find a small table, put an incense burner on the wall, and stick a paper with your name on it. Done. It's that simple. Wait, if you know how to do it, why don't you do it yourself? The weasel stood there, stunned. Set it up myself? I've never heard of a spirit guardian setting up their own tablet. So it told him that nobody ever does that for themselves. Can't you be the first one to do it, you bum? I'm already letting you stay here. You want me to serve you too? Our boy snapped. So the Golden Weasel had to find a small table in the room, slapped a piece of paper on the wall behind the table, pulled out a ballpoint pen, and wrote in the most crooked handwriting ever. Spirit tablet of the great Emperor No. 2 of the Eastern Mountain. He couldn't care less about the weasel, and just went to bed, while the weasel, after finishing its own tablet, gave a satisfied smirk, though there was a hint of sorrow in that smile, because it was the first Golden Weasel in history to ever set up its own spirit tablet. Thinking about that, the weasel blinked its big eyes and whispered, I don't know if this counts, but at least I've got a tablet now. Then the weasel went to get some rest. But the lady zombie was bored out of her mind. Since zombies sleep during the day and run wild at night, she was so restless she couldn't stay still for another second, and snuck out to the street to stretch her legs. Just then, she noticed a ghost nearby creeping from house to house, up to who knows what. The lady zombie got curious and hopped over. Getting closer, she heard the ghost pointing at the door, mumbling under his breath, 1, 2, 3, 5. Time to go up the mountain and hunt a tiger. The tiger wasn't home, but he ran into a tiny squirrel instead. Let's go with this house then. With that, he was about to knock on the door. Suddenly, a zombie girl's voice boomed from right behind him. Yo, What exactly are you doing? The ghost jumped out of his skin, whipped around, and got scared all over again. Zombie girl, what the heck are you doing? You nearly scared me to death. I'm not doing anything. So why are you lurking here? I'm the door-knocking ghost. I'm trying to pick a house to terrorize, but my indecisiveness is killing me. I've been standing here for an hour. The zombie girl's eyes lit up. Isn't this just a free delivery of express right to her doorstep? So she said, why bother choosing? I'll take you to a house. For real? The door-knocking ghost happily followed the zombie girl to a target house. Without a second thought, the ghost started banging on the door. Knock, knock, knock. A moment later, the guy inside swung the door open, fuming. Who the hell is that? Can't a guy get some sleep? Do you want me to mess you up or what? As soon as the door opened, he glared aggressively at the ghost. The ghost was completely stunned, just standing there like a total NPC. The zombie girl piped up from behind. It's a door-knocking ghost that specializes in offing people. Definitely not some low-level trash. You're unlucky today, kid. You're the one I picked, so now I'm coming in to end you. He put on his meanest, most menacing face. The guy finally clicked onto what was happening, realizing the zombie girl had baited him. So he immediately grinned and said, you want to kill me? Oh wow, that's great. Come on in, please. Be my guest. The ghost stood there dumbfounded, thinking this hospitality felt completely wrong. What are you just standing there for? Get in here. I barely get any ghosts visiting my place. Don't be shy. He shoved the ghost right into the house. The ghost walked inside, looking absolutely clueless. He was low-key wondering why this guy wasn't even flinching after finding out he was a ghost. Did this dude think he was role-playing and was just playing along? So the ghost doubled down. I'm actually a ghost. Look if you don't believe me. He then spun his head a full 360 degrees on his neck, fully expecting that to finally prove his identity and hoping to scare the guy, but the man just started clapping. Not bad, that was actually impressive. The knock ghost was even more confused, fully walking into the house at this point. As soon as he entered, the female zombie followed, slammed the door shut, and blocked the exit. The knock ghost turned around, eyeing the zombie, wondering why she just locked the door. This sent his already anxious brain into a complete spiral, not knowing what the hell to do. The MC pulled up a chair for the ghost to sit down. The ghost literally forgot he was there to commit a murder. Before he could process anything, he saw a yellow weasel walking on its hind legs, carrying tea with its claws, setting it on the table, and telling the ghost, please, enjoy. The knock ghost's eyes popped out, screaming in pure terror. A talking weasel? A demon? Damn, I didn't even get to scare these people, and now I'm the one getting traumatized. The ghost's face went pale, and he stood up to bolt, but the zombie blocked the door like a raid boss. The knock ghost was officially panicking. He finally realized he was in some serious trouble. He felt like he might have walked straight into a trap. The zombie, the guy in the house, and the demon weasel were all clearly in on it together. Thinking fast, he nervously stared at the guy. What do you people want? Relax. Don't sweat it. I'm just asking, what's your actual job description anyway? You knock on doors to kill people, right? Yeah. I pick a house and knock. If they open, they're dead. So what if they don't open the door? Still dead. Got it. And have you actually successfully killed anyone yet? Yeah, I have. Good. Now I can breathe easy. The door-knocking ghost looked confused. What are you so chill about? You done yet? If you're finished, I'm out of here. Our boy just smirked, thinking, bro walked into the boss's lair and thinks he can just leave? He chuckled and said, don't be shy. Let's start the show. Hit me with your best move. The door-knocking ghost froze mid-stride. Start what? Exactly. Didn't you come here to haunt me? I'm literally sitting right here. Come on. I want you to haunt me, but you're clearly quitting on the job. While talking, the ghost started drifting toward the door, obviously trying to bail. The ghost realized things were getting weird, but it couldn't even make it to the exit. The female zombie standing guard flashed her fangs and told the ghost, go back and haunt him a little. What kind of weak sauce is this? The ghost was losing its mind, looking at him helplessly like, what is even happening right now? You're dragging this out. Just finish the job already, he snapped. Our boy was clearly losing his patience. The ghost took a breath and said, so you're saying if I haunt you, I can finally leave? Exactly. Just get over here and do it. Seeing no other way out, the ghost finally caved. It gathered all its courage, summoned its ghost energy, and lunged at him with a scream. Die, you brat. The ghost threw a strike at his chest, but right before the hit landed, it chickened out. It pulled back its power, barely touching his chest with a single, gentle claw swipe. He only felt a slight chill on his chest, but honestly, that was enough. Even though the door-knocking ghost was actually pretty smart and cautious, this little touch was all our boy needed to stage a massive scene, as he suddenly acted like he'd been hit by a truck, flying backward in an over-the-top performance, and hitting the floor, then screaming at the top of his lungs, help! This evil spirit is trying to kill me! Right on cue, he barked at the female zombie and the yellow weasel, catch that thing! I knew it! The ghost started panicking and tried to dip immediately. If it stayed any longer, heaven knows what kind of nightmare would unfold. It transformed into a cloud of ghost energy, ready to zoom away. But the female zombie had zero chill, swinging her claws to blast a wave of death energy right at the ghost. The ghost was knocked out of its smoky form and forced back into its physical body. "You think you can just stop me?" the ghost roared. "Do you really think I'm that easy to bully?" With that, a thick aura of ghost energy swirled around it, morphing into skulls that zoomed straight at the guy. Bro was trying to pull a classic cut the head off the snake move. Just as the guy prepared to parry, the golden weasel leaped out of nowhere, swiping its claws to shatter those skulls with a burst of demon energy. The guy let out a sinister laugh, whipped out his watermelon chopping knife, and screamed, "You piece of trash! You've hurt way too many people! Time for me to deliver some righteous justice!" The ghost saw him charging with that kitchen blade, and frantically spammed waves of ghost energy in his direction. The guy started swinging his knife like a maniac, shredding through the ghost energy and closing the gap in a heartbeat before bringing that blade down on the ghost's skull. The ghost tried to block, but the guy pulled a bait and switch, retracting the knife and landing a dirty kick straight into the ghost's crotch. The ghost was genuinely stunned. This guy clearly didn't read the manual on honorable combat. Before it could recover, the guy swung the knife again. The ghost braced for another block, noticed the guy's foot twitching, and smirked to itself, thinking it could ignore the blade and just tank the kick. It prepared to counter the kick that never actually came. The guy didn't even kick. He just hacked downwards, sending the ghost flying back. The ghost hit the floor, looking like it was about to start crying. Like, what kind of degenerate plays like this? After scrambling up, the ghost decided it was done with the guy and made a beeline for the female zombie instead. It tried to bolt for the door, but the zombie saw it coming and stood her ground, radiating pure death energy. As soon as the ghost got in range, the zombie went on the offensive, throwing out waves of death energy that kept the ghost from getting anywhere near her. She completely locked it down, leaving the ghost zero chance to make a run for it. Seeing the guy and the weasel closing in from behind, the ghost started tweaking. It couldn't run, and it definitely couldn't win. Like, what is even the play here? The ghost stood there, absolutely lost in the sauce. In a moment of pure desperation, it just collapsed onto its knees. Even our guy was stunned by that move. He had absolutely no idea why this ghost decided to drop to its knees. "Yo, big bro, what are you doing? If I somehow offended you, can you just be the bigger man and let me slide? I honestly don't remember doing anything to you," the door-knocking ghost pleaded. Our boy just smirked and dropped the bomb. "You already offended me, pal. Like, didn't you just try to murder me 5 seconds ago?" Without waiting for a reply, he grabbed a red string, bit his finger, smeared some blood on it, and hog-tied that spirit. Then, he whipped out his phone and dialed Jin Ye. "Yo, I've got a ghost here that's been racking up a kill count. Come pick it up, it's at my place." The ghost, clearly losing its mind, barked at him. "Oh, you're calling the cops? I get it now. You aren't just using a honey trap. You're doing some undercover sting operation." Before long, Jin Ye pulled up with the spirit police squad. He took one look at the ghost and said, "That's the one. Confirmed. This trash is behind all the recent attacks." They tossed it in the wagon, and despite the ghost screaming like a lunatic, there was no escaping its fate. Jin Ye handed over the 10,000 bounty, gave him a solid nod, and bounced. The next afternoon, our guy woke up and started crunching numbers on how to scale his income beyond just hunting random ghosts for change. Honestly, that's not a long-term grind, especially since he's now got a golden weasel and a vampire waifu on the payroll. With subordinates like that, it's a waste of assets if they aren't pulling off something big. He sat there racking his brain but couldn't think of a single side hustle. Right on cue, Su Manshir hit him up with a call. As soon as he picked up, she went straight into it. "Chen Ziye, after that whole kidnapping disaster, I had a massive blowout with my dad and dipped. I'm done mooching off him. I'm gonna build my own empire. Want to partner up?" Our boy just laughed at the thought of a startup with her. "I'm not that stupid. You're a rich daddy's girl. This is just a hobby for you. I actually need to stack paper, so stop playing." "Who's playing with you?" "I'm legit trying to make it on my own. My dad got rich running factories. I'm thinking of following in his footsteps, but I've got no clue what kind of factory to open. You got any suggestions?" Bro was about to lecture her and hang up, but then he realized, starting a factory might actually be a W. "My recommendation is to open a sewing factory." And honestly, I don't know if he just had a fever dream or what, but suddenly this genius idea popped into his head. Next time he runs into some demonic pests, instead of handing them over to the Supernatural Police Bureau for pocket change, he's gonna drag them back to work for him. And the best part? He's paying them absolutely zero. Once he squeezes every last drop of value out of them, he'll hand them over to the Bureau for the final bounty. Talk about double dipping. Regular ghosts and demons are fine to hire, especially the ghosts. If he pays them, he can just use hell money. That's literally free labor. How much does hell money even cost anyway? Isn't this just a zero-cost, high-profit business model? Thinking about that, his eyes started sparkling like he found a gold mine. A real big-brain player knows if you want to get rich, you gotta exploit the local monsters for everything they're worth. Meanwhile, Su Men Care on the other end says, "A sewing factory sounds good. I'll find a location and get it ready for you." "Wait a sec. You probably shouldn't get involved. I'll handle this myself. The factory I'm planning isn't exactly the kind you're imagining. What do you mean it's not the same? My factory doesn't hire people. No humans allowed. Just machines and ghosts doing the heavy lifting. Hey. With that, he slammed the phone down. Sumaner is a literal goldmine of ideas, because relying on bounties is for chumps. It's time to become a CEO. With over 600,000 in his bank, opening a shop is basically pocket change. He immediately went out and rented a small warehouse space right above his apartment. Rent was only a few tens of thousands a year. Total steal. Once the place was secured, he started hunting for textile machines. Cutting and sewing clothes can't be that hard, right? Just spin the thread into fabric, cut it, and stitch it up. Easy. I mean, that's what he thought, but who knows how it'll actually go. He'll worry about the details later. So he hit the market and grabbed over 10 machines for under 100,000. Dragged the gear back to his spot, loaded up on thread, and got everything prepped for his ghostly workforce. By the time he made it back home, just then, our girl Hu Xian rolls up with 2 roasted chickens in hand. She spots our boy and the golden weasel, and immediately starts giggling. Hey big brother, and you too, Wang. I brought some snacks for you both. Our MC isn't one to stand on ceremony, so he grabs a chicken and starts devouring it. Once he's stuffed, he turns to the weasel and the zombie girl and drops the news. I just opened a sweatshop upstairs, and I'm gonna need a massive staff, so tonight you two are on a special mission. Go out there and start patrolling the streets. If you spot any demons or low-life spirits causing trouble, drag them back to the workshop. You can even recruit some ghosts to do the labor. The pay? We're strictly dealing in underworld currency. You two tracking with me? The zombie and the weasel nod, clearly understanding the vibe. But the golden weasel hits him with a quick question. But boss, what if we run into a demon that's way out of our league? Just hit me up. I've hooked you guys up with my old burner phone. SIM card's already installed and ready to go. If you're losing the fight, just give me a ring. Bet. Then we're good to go. At this point, Hu Xian chimes in. Can I get in on this too? I'll pick up some extra shifts at night. Wait. You've already got a fried chicken shop and you're still looking for side hustles? Our boy looks genuinely shocked. What can I say? I'm trying to buy a house in the city, but I've only saved up a few thousand, and at this rate, it's gonna take a lifetime. Hearing that struggle, our guy feels a bit of empathy, and immediately gives her the green light. Fine, you're in with the other two. Go out there, hunt down the demons causing chaos, and while you're at it, recruit the ones who aren't breaking the law. As for the salary, you 3 get a flat rate of 3,000 every month. How does that sound? Hu Xian's eyes literally light up, and the golden weasel is losing his mind. Bro didn't even expect a paycheck. The zombie girl is doing some math, wondering if 3,000 is enough to cover her blood addiction habit. And just like that, 1 human, 2 demons, and a zombie start their quest to hunt down supernatural degenerates across the streets of Haicheng. Meanwhile, in a local park, a bunch of demons were just chilling, brainstorming new ways to troll the humans. One of them spoke up. Big bro, maybe we should stop offing people for a bit. Word on the street is, there's a total menace in Haicheng who hunts down demons for sport. The bushy-browed demon, clearly the self-proclaimed boss of this NPC squad, just scoffed. He let out a grunt and said, so what if he catches us? Getting caught just means jail time, man. Another demon chimed in, and the boss just laughed. Lai Mao, it's just prison, what's there to be scared of? It's not like we're being sentenced to forced labor. As soon as he finished that sentence, a voice echoed from the shadows nearby. Who said you aren't going to be working? The demons were stunned, totally caught off guard by the sudden interruption. Speak of the devil, the exact menace they were dreading just pulled up. The demons stared in confusion as he walked over, and the boss sneered. Are you human? You got some nerve? We were looking for a snack, and you just walked right into our trap. The other 2 demons started cackling like absolute losers. Once he got closer, he looked at the trio and asked, what are you clowns doing here? You looking to catch bodies, or are you looking for a jail cell? Kid, you do realize we're actual demons, right? The bushy-browed demon asked, clearly baffled. He scoffed. No duh. Why else would I be here if I didn't know you were literal trash? That line left the demons completely brain-rotted and speechless. You've got guts, kid, knowing we're demons and still walking up like that. If we don't off you right now, we're gonna look like complete frauds, aren't we? The boss shouted, charging at him with the other 2 goons in tow. Seeing them try-harding, he slowly pulled a watermelon chopping cleaver from behind his back. The second those demons saw that blade, their expressions did a full 180. It was pretty obvious they finally realized they messed up. Once they saw the psycho grin on his face, they knew it was over, slamming on the brakes as they screamed, you're that demon-hunting psycho! Only realizing that now? Too little, too late. He swung that cleaver, unleashing a savage strike straight at the trio. The boss shrieked, oh crap, retreat! He tried to bail, but our boy just chuckled. You really think you're going anywhere? With that, he yeeted his watermelon cleaver straight at the target. That blade became a literal projectile, slicing right into the shoulder of the bushy-browed demon, making the little punk scream in agony before face-planting into the dirt. Our boy stepped up, planted his foot on the demon's back, yanked his blade out, and locked eyes with the other 2 cowards. The remaining 2 demons were absolutely shook, turning tail to run, but our guy went full beast mode, chasing them down with the cleaver in hand. He caught up to one of them and swung for the fences, scaring the living daylights out of the demon, who immediately dropped to his knees. "Big bro, please don't kill me, I'm terrified." Seeing this, he kicked the demon into the dirt, looked back, and saw the third one had already cleared a massive distance. He let out a sinister chuckle, then took off in pursuit with the cleaver. Even though the demon had a head start, our boy was just straight up faster. Right as he was about to close the gap, he launched the cleaver. The demon's face turned from pale to ghostly white in a heartbeat. "Still running, huh? You ain't scared I'm gonna end you right here?" Hearing that, the demon went full smooth brain, frantically looking over his shoulder. Just as he turned, he saw the cleaver flying straight for his soul. After a pathetic shriek, our guy grabbed the demon by the ankle and dragged him all the way back. Looking at the wounded, bushy-browed demon and the one he'd just dragged back, they were trembling like leaves, genuinely confused as to why. They'd dealt with plenty of priests, monks, and exorcists before, but they all agreed that this dude in front of them was a different breed of nightmare. He whipped out some red rope, hogtied all three of them, and dragged them back to his workshop. Once there, the trio stared at the 10 machines in total confusion. The bushy-browed demon asked, "Aren't you supposed to take us to the Spirit Police Bureau for the bounty?" "That was the old way. From now on, you're my indentured laborers, you get me?" Once he finished, another demon chirped up with a question. "Wait, why?" "Because you guys owe me money." "The hell? Since when? Didn't you guys try to jump me just a second ago? That really hurt my fragile little heart, so you better pay up for the emotional damage. Since you losers are broke, you're gonna work for me to pay off that debt." All three demons were shook to their core. Suddenly, the bushy-browed demon started screaming. Like, what the hell? Who's actually the one traumatized here? And who's actually supposed to be paying for emotional damage? He started playing around with a watermelon knife in his hand. "You guys got a problem with that?" The bushy-browed demon immediately grabbed a machine, sat down, and looked at him. "Teach me right now. How do I even run this thing? I'm just dying to be your little employee, honestly." The other two demons were absolutely stunned again. He smirked and walked over. "See? That's what I'm talking about. Working is better than getting bodied, right?" Then he turned his gaze to the other two demons. They rushed over immediately, begging him, "Please teach us too," and he nodded in satisfaction. "Not bad, you guys actually caught on pretty quick." With that, he started showing them how to operate the machinery. One demon on weaving, one on cutting, and the bushy-browed one on stitching. The production line was officially printing money. He tossed them a t-shirt sample, told them to get to work, and turned his back to leave. Once he was gone, the three demons looked at each other, and the bushy-browed one whispered, "Hold up, wait till he's gone, then we bounce." "Big bro is a genius. Big bro is the GOAT. Heh, he's got the muscle, but he's low-key dumb as bricks. Let's dip." No sooner had they said that, they were about to run when they saw him walking back in with a massive axe. He stared at the three demons trying to bolt and frowned. "Where do you think you're going?" The three demons turned beet red, sweating bullets. We were just trying to open the window for some fresh air. It's super stuffy, hard to breathe, you know?" "Yeah, exactly. It's suffocating in here." "It's so hot. They're telling the truth. Since when do demons even need to breathe? And with you lot in the workshop, it's already colder than an AC unit, so don't give me that it's hot trash. Don't think you can pull a fast one on me just 'cause I dropped out. I ain't that stupid." Our boy clearly saw these three demons trying to bail, but he decided to play it cool and let them cook for a bit. He let out a cold smirk and said, "Get back to work, losers." The trio jumped out of their skins, scurrying back to their stations to start up the machinery. They were total noobs at first, but with him barking orders, they started catching on quick. Meanwhile, our guy pulled out a stack of fortune talismans and plastered them everywhere. Windows, walls, doors, ceilings, and even the floor. Now, forget about trying to ghost through the walls. These demons couldn't even touch a door handle, let alone creep near the windows. And with those talismans sealing the floor and ceiling, they were basically trapped in a supernatural cage. As for those three demons, seeing every escape route slammed shut, the thick-browed demon looked even more miserable than when he was alive, crying out that this was just straight-up cold-blooded. Our guy just clapped his hands together, done with the setup. Hai Long nodded and said, "Keep working hard. I need you guys to grind, so I can ship you off to the spiritual police lockup soon." As soon as that dropped, the three demons froze. The message was loud and clear. Once they finished the job here, he was definitely sending them straight to jail. Talk about hardcore labor exploitation, right? But what could they even say at this point? They were too scared to whine, just watching him smirk and walk out the door. He was definitely ghosting them for real this time. The thick-browed demon immediately stood up, doing a lap around the workshop with the other two. They searched everywhere, only to realize in total despair that there was absolutely nowhere left to hide. "Boss, what do we do now? Are we actually going to slave away in this sweatshop?" "Yeah, boss. We're supposed to be terrifying demons. If word gets out that we're doing manual labor, how are we supposed to show our faces in the underworld?" "Well, what do you want me to do? Do you idiots have an exit strategy or not?" The other two demons choked on their words. It was obvious they weren't going anywhere. If it were anyone else, we could probably throw hands and have a decent shot at booking it. But this guy? No way, he's a total menace. Don't forget, He once leveled the entire Dongshan graveyard in one night, taking out over 100 spirits with a single kitchen knife. You both saw how psycho he was earlier. There's no way we're winning that fight. Hearing the leader spill the tea, the other two demons just completely deflated. So boss, what's the move? What move? What else can we even do? Time to put these ghosts to work. He flips the switch, and the weaving machine starts spitting out fabric. The two ghosts let out a sigh. Then one starts cutting the cloth while the other follows the pattern to stitch it up. You won't believe it, but after a bit of messing around, the trio actually finished a legit t-shirt. Seeing that putting spirits to work is actually a viable business model, our boy decides to blow the rest of his cash on more machinery. But after doing the math, he realizes the equipment alone is going to drain his entire savings. So now he needs to grind for tens of thousands of yuan. Otherwise, he's going all in and going broke. His cash flow is going to be tighter than a beginner's cultivation technique. Since Huang Pz, the female zombie, and Hu Xian are all looking for more staff, he thinks it over and decides the best play is to just throw more ghosts into his employee program. So he hits the streets looking for some evil spirits to recruit, but after a whole lap, he finds absolutely zero. Just as he's about to give up, he passes by the Joss paper shop he used to frequent, and 4 ghosts show up at the exact same time. Curious about what these specters are plotting, he hangs back in the shadows to watch the show. They loiter around for a bit, look like they've finally made up their minds, and walk up to the counter. The ghost with the blonde hair speaks up, "Hey lady, burn us 4 stacks of ghost money." The shop owner, a girl with short hair, looks confused. 4 stacks of ghost money? Yeah, burn it for us first. Once it's burning, she pulls the 4 stacks out and lights them up in the bucket outside. The blonde ghost immediately steps up, snatching the burning stacks right out of the flames. Then he asks the shop owner, "So, how much do I owe you?" 4 stacks. The ghost nods as if he's a big spender. He pulls a $100,000 bill of fake ghost money from the stack, hands it to her, and says, "Keep the 100K, don't worry about the change." The blonde ghost acts like he's some high-rolling baller. The short-haired girl is looking at him like he's lost his mind, and even our MC standing nearby can't help but think, "Bro, what kind of brain-dead move is this?" Looking at the girl's face, she's clearly tilted, frowning as she snaps, "Are you trying to mess with me? You think this is a joke? You think I actually take this fake trash as currency? You know we're ghosts. What else are you supposed HMPH, choosing this spot to pull your little tricks? Big mistake. If this shop is open all night, it means the boss lady definitely isn't afraid of you losers." With that, she pulls out 4 spirit talismans and yeets them straight at the ghosts. The 4 ghosts try to bail, but they're too slow. The talismans slap them right in the back. Bam, 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 bam. 4 sounds later, the ghosts go flying and faceplant into the dirt. The short-haired girl strolls over, pulls out another talisman, and flicks her wrist to set it ablaze. She tosses the burning talisman right onto the stack of spirit money in the yellow-haired ghost's hand. That money goes up in flames, the ghost panics and drops it, and in a second, it's just a pile of ash. She smirks and says, "You thought you could come here and loot the shop? You guys are seriously pushing your luck." The 4 ghosts stand up, furious, but they know they're outclassed and decide to retreat. "You stinking witch, this isn't over." The yellow-haired ghost barks out an insult as they leave. Then the ghosts spot him, and the leader glares at him, shouting, "You, get over here." He looks at the ghost, points at himself, and asks, "Me? Yeah, no kidding, get over here." The yellow-haired ghost screams. To their surprise, he actually walks over and asks, "What's the deal?" The ghost is completely caught off guard. HMPH, you don't seem afraid of us at all, huh? Being afraid would change anything? Spit it out, what do you want? Kid, you're having a blast hanging out with ghosts, aren't you? You want us to unalive you, or what? For real? Well, that's actually perfect. Come on, jump me. I'm getting impatient here. He didn't expect that just passing by to watch the drama would lead to such a golden opportunity. If this isn't luck, I don't know what is. He was just worrying about where to find some evil ghosts to capture for his business. Looks like the paycheck just delivered itself, right? That's why he's being so polite. He's just terrified these ghosts won't actually try to kill him. Meanwhile, the yellow-haired ghost is just staring, thinking, is this guy actually insane? Not only is he not scared of ghosts, but he's actively begging to be offed. Even the bob-cut girl at the incense shop was left standing there like an NPC. Ever since she met our boy, she's had zero clue what kind of freak he actually is. First, he shows up with $5 looking for a fruit knife. Then he drops tens of thousands on a Cultivation for Dummies manual and starts shadowboxing everywhere like a total weirdo. Now he's out here literally begging these ghosts to unalive him. Man, how are we supposed to decode this dude's brain? Just as everyone was questioning his sanity, he yelled, "Hurry up and take me out!" The blonde ghost frowned. The guy's erratic behavior was actually starting to creep him out. So the blonde ghost says, "If you don't want us to unalive you, go buy some ghost money at that shop and burn it for us." You catching my drift, kid? Hearing that, Our boy's face went straight up dark. Damn it, he's broke himself. And he was only trying to bait these ghosts into attacking him so he could cash them in for the bounty. Who would have thought these ghosts would have the audacity to ask him to pay for their afterlife retirement fund? If he wasn't restricted by the rules from striking first, he would have smashed this guy's skull in already. Swallowing his rage, he snapped, "I told you to unalive me, didn't you hear me the first time?" Seeing him act like this, the blonde ghost was genuinely confused. One of the minions chimed in, "Boss, I think this guy's got a screw loose, plus he's probably broke anyway. How about this, let's kidnap him, but who's gonna pay the ransom? We don't even know his family. Let's drag him to the paranormal bureau and hold him hostage. Those cops will have to pay up, right?" The blonde ghost's eyes lit up. "Yo, you're actually a genius. Let's haul him to the paranormal bureau. Those ghost cops will definitely have to care then. We make them burn ghost money for us, grab the loot, and dip. Easy money, nobody can touch us." The four ghosts huddled up and started cackling like maniacs. Then the blonde ghost tells him, "You're coming with us to the paranormal bureau." Our boy was stunned. "Wait, why are we going there? You guys aren't planning on turning yourselves in, are you?" "Don't do that, bro. Just beat me up first, and I'll handle the rest, trust me." The four ghosts were left speechless. The blonde ghost sighed. "I have no idea what your deal is, but we're kidnapping you to go shake down the bureau for cash, understand?" Bro's eyes popped out, thinking to himself, "Wait, isn't this my signature move? Like, who is actually kidnapping who to the spirit police station for the bounty?" But then he got hyped, realizing that kidnapping him counts as a crime for these four ghosts. Once they hit the spirit police station, everyone figured the reward money was already in the bag, and the four ghosts were too brain dead to notice anything suspicious about our boy, just casually escorting him straight to the station. Just then, the short-haired girl frowned and muttered, "Hold up." He whipped his head around, and before the golden-haired ghost could even speak, he blurted out, "I suggest you stop being a busybody." "Exactly." The golden-haired ghost chimed in, side-eyeing him. Mentally, the ghost was like, "Damn, this captive is really playing along." The girl scoffed in annoyance and walked into the shop. Even so, she had a gut feeling he was actually baiting these ghosts, so she didn't stress about it. So under the kidnapping of the four ghosts, he was having the time of his life, practically dancing his way to the spirit police station, even more excited than the ghosts themselves. Standing outside the station, the four ghosts were actually starting to sweat. After all, the spirit police are the ones keeping the local supernatural threats in check. They might not be top tier, but taking down four low-level ghosts is light work for them. Good thing they had a hostage to use as leverage. Though, for some reason, having this specific hostage made them feel even more uneasy. But there was no time to overthink it now. The golden-haired ghost stepped up and screamed at the entrance, "Listen up, you spirit police. Burn us 10 billion in ghost money or we're turning this hostage into shredded cheese." Right on cue, a dozen officers walked out, and Jin Ye was leading the pack. These officers all recognized our guy, and as soon as they saw him, they stood there looking absolutely lost. Jin Ye looked confused as hell and asked, "What in the world is going on? Are you blind? Or what? We're the four ghosts, and we kidnapped this guy. Burn us 10 billion, or we're ending him. Otherwise, we'll—" "Wait, hold on, can you clarify? Did he kidnap you guys, or did you kidnap him?" "Damn, are you deaf? The four of us are the ones kidnapping him. Get it through your head." Jin Ye turned to our guy and asked, "Are you actually being kidnapped by these clowns? I swear. Can't you see they've got me surrounded?" Jin Ye still wasn't buying it, looking at him like, "Big boss, please tell me this isn't a no cap. I actually got kidnapped for real. I'm dead serious. I'm the victim here." Jin Ye looked at the four demons and asked, "Are you guys sure you aren't being held against your will?" "What the hell? What's that supposed to mean? You think we're kidnapping this guy? Who would even dare to threaten us?" "Alright, so prove it. How exactly are you kidnapping him?" The blonde demon couldn't believe it. Imagine a kidnapper being treated like he's the one lying. Right on cue, the four demons channeled their ghost energy, all of them grabbing him by the neck. The blonde demon shouted, "See that? Is this a kidnapping, or what? So it seems you guys are indeed kidnapping him." Seeing Jin Ye say that, he opened his mouth and said, "Everyone witnessed it, right? These four idiots kidnapped me, which is a crime, so now I'm legally allowed to wreck them. Big boss, let me go grab the bounty for you." The blonde demon saw the spirit police walking in, and immediately started tweaking. "Yo, what are you guys doing? What kind of bounty money? We're ghosts. Why would we need hell money? We're in the middle of a kidnapping here. Are you guys just gonna ignore this?" The blonde demon was still lost in the sauce. Watching the spirit police walk past, the four demons were absolutely stunned. They couldn't wrap their heads around why these cops were just ignoring the hostage. After the spirit police walked into the bureau, the four demons just stared at him in confusion. The blonde demon even asked, "What are they doing? Why aren't they worried about you?" He flashed a menacing grin and said, "It's not that they're ignoring me. They're ignoring you losers." "What's that supposed to mean?" He chuckled and said, "You're about to find out exactly what it means." No sooner had he finished, he raised his hand, and out of nowhere, a butcher's knife appeared in his grip. He swung the blade with a few satisfying slashes, instantly hacking off the claws of the demons still grabbing his neck. This sudden plot twist left the four demons frozen in fear, too shocked to even scream. Before they could even process the L they just took, he whipped out his red rope. With a flick of the red rope, he had those 4 ghosts wrapped up tighter than a burrito. Then, he yanked them hard, binding the quartet together in a single, flawless motion. Bro pulled off the whole combo in literally one breath. By the time Jin Yang and his crew walked back out, they saw the scene, and weren't even surprised. The ghosts were still staring blankly, while Jin Ye handed our boy 40,000 yuan. Having no clue what just went down as he handed the ghosts over, Jin Ye ordered his guys to haul the ghosts off to the slammer, and just like that, the 4 ghosts were dragged away, feeling both miserable and completely lost. Their brains are currently short-circuiting, and honestly, they could spend weeks behind bars and they still wouldn't be able to process what the heck happened tonight. Watching him pocket the cash, Jin Ye gave him a weird look and muttered, "Big boss, this hustle of yours isn't exactly sustainable, you know? Sooner or later, you're either going to catch every ghost in Haicheng or scare the living daylights out of them until they flee the city." He just chuckled and said, "Yeah, I've been thinking about pivoting to a different side hustle myself. No point in playing pretend in front of Jin Ye anymore." They swapped a few more lines before he dipped. He spent the rest of the night patrolling the streets of Haicheng, but couldn't find a single ghost worth dealing with. Bro couldn't be bothered to waste more time, so he just headed straight back to the workshop. Once he got back, he noticed 3 new guests. A hanged ghost chick, with her tongue hanging out, looking like a total mess. She wasn't too bad looking, plus there was a dude who died in a car wreck, and finally, a fierce lady ghost, dressed all in red. She looked like she had major attitude, but she was low-key terrified while side-eyeing the fox spirit, probably because our fox girl snatched her up. You could tell she took an absolute beating during the recruitment process. The 3 newbies were sitting there, obediently watching the bushy-eyed ghost's trio at work. The bushy-eyed ghost and his 2 bros, they're absolute legends now, churning out 10 t-shirts a night, looking so proud of themselves, basically acting like the senior managers of this sweatshop. So they were running the machines while mansplaining technical workflows to the new recruits. Watching this masterpiece, he couldn't help but step up and drop some praise. "Not bad. You guys actually managed to synthesize some real-world tactics. Keep it up. Stay on the grind, and maybe you'll break through your limits soon and hit the milestone of 100 shirts a night, you absolute demons." Bushy Eyes and his bros jumped up instantly. "Thanks for the praise, boss. We'll keep pushing ourselves and stay on the hustle." He nodded, satisfied, and looked outside. Dawn was already breaking, so he points at a wooden box in the factory and says, "Shift's over, get inside. When I get rich, I'll burn some paper houses for you losers. But for now, just deal with it." The 3 demons stop the machines and crawl into the wooden box. He looks at the new arrivals, including the neck-hanging ghost, and says, "I'm sure you guys know the drill by now. I expect you to work hard and grind out enough cash for me as fast as possible. Only then will I let you go and drop you off at the slammer." The red-clad female spirit side-eyes him, clearly shocked by his absolutely inhuman behavior, forcing ghosts to labor for him in this sweatshop and then tossing them into jail on top of it. Like seriously, is this guy even human? The red-clad spirit speaks up. "What if we refuse?" "Refuse? You don't want to work here?" "Exactly. Why should we even work for you? We're ghosts, not sweatshop laborers." The red-clad spirit really lives up to her name. She's definitely got that main character syndrome ego. He takes a deep breath and says, "Have you ever harmed anyone?" She says smugly, "Obviously, I scared someone so bad they went insane." "But wait, why are you asking why I harmed someone?" Before she could even finish, she lets out a cold laugh. "I'm a spirit. Do I really need a reason to mess someone up? Do I look like I need a motive for that?" Right on cue, he whips out a watermelon cleaver. The zombie girl, Huang Bizi, and the fox fairy automatically back away, knowing the boss is about to go full psycho. Sure enough, he points the cleaver right at her and says, "Well, let me tell you something. I'm the boss here. Do I really need a reason to capture you? Do I need a reason to force you to work for me?" The spirit is stunned, not expecting him to use her own logic against her. She stammers, "And what if I still refuse to work?" He gives a deranged smirk. "Then I'm harvesting your kidneys and handing you over to the paranormal police." Her face goes pale, she screams. "Handing me to the cops is one thing, but why?" No clue. But since they got scammed overseas, anyone who doesn't listen gets their kidneys snatched. If they're snatching, I'm snatching back. The car accident ghost and the hanging ghost were already shook to their core, but the red-clad vengeful spirit was still trying to act tough, gritting her teeth and saying, "I ain't doing it, fight me." Our boy grabbed his blade and stepped up, and just when she tried to resist, flashing a fierce look, he smacked her down with one clean hit, dropping her straight to the floor before planting a boot on her back, the meat cleaver in his hand, hovering right over her kidney. With a murderous spirit like this, he wasn't about to go soft. Finally terrified, the red-clad ghost shrieked, Don't cut, I'll do it, I'll do anything." Amidst the blood-curdling screams of the red-clad ghost, his kidney-snatching blade didn't actually drop, because honestly, he still needed these ghosts to do the grunt work. And if he really harvested her kidney, that's one less employee on the payroll. He put the cleaver away, gave a cold snort, and told her, Behave yourself and work, or you're gonna catch these hands. Terrified, she nodded frantically, having always thought she was the apex predator of the underworld, never expecting to run into someone even more unhinged today. He turned his gaze toward the hanging ghost and the car accident ghost. Both of them jumped out of their spectral skin. Immediately, the car accident ghost piped up, "I swear eternal loyalty to the boss. Working my soul out for you is officially the highlight of my entire afterlife." The hanging ghost stammered, "Me too, me too." He gave an approving nod. "Smart kid. Very teachable. Good. Now get in the wooden box and take a nap. Tonight, the three of you are pulling a double shift on the machines." The trio nodded and instantly zipped back into the box. The female Jiangxi decided to just crash at the factory. Huang Bizi just passed out on a pile of fabric, and the fox spirit had to head back to run her diner. Once dawn hit, he went out and ordered another dozen machines. At this rate, with ghosts flooding the factory, he won't be short on labor, so the gear and raw materials better keep up. After dropping the bag on a dozen machines, his bank account was looking sad. But looking at those 18 machines in the shop, he couldn't help but grin. 6 looms, 6 cutters, and 6 sewing machines. So that's 6 production lines ready to go, which means we're gonna need at least 20 demons on the clock to keep up. No more gear for now. The main mission is getting the squad filled out. Next, our boy hits a wall. Where the hell is he supposed to sell these clothes? He's got 0 sales channels, so making a mountain of shirts won't mean squat if no one's buying. He ain't paying these ghosts a dime, but that machinery wasn't cheap. Bro is definitely not trying to take an L here. He thought about it for a minute and realized he could just go live on the internet. With that, he decided to test it out tonight. When the sun went down, the thick-browed demon, the red-clad specter, the car crash ghost, and the broken neck ghost all crawled out of their wooden boxes. The thick-browed demon started acting like a veteran employee, flexing on the 3 new hires. "See that? We got more machines in the shop now, so quit slacking, learn the ropes, and get to work." Hearing that, the red-clad specter wasn't feeling it and clapped back. "You're a literal demon, bro? You actually okay with just staying here?" The thick-browed demon let out a sigh. "What demon? Life? We're just 3 wage slaves who finally stopped being lost. We finally found our true purpose in this ghost life." "What, you're actually thinking about dipping?" "Forget it. Running the machines is actually lit, and making these shirts is low-key satisfying." The red-clad specter rolled her eyes. "I don't buy it." The thick-browed demon frowned. "What are you gonna do if you don't buy it?" The broken neck ghost chimed in. "You want him to harvest your kidneys instead?" The red-clad specter instantly folded. Just then, the zombie girl woke up, stared her down, and said, "You still trying to stir up trouble? Want me to snitch to the boss?" The red-clad specter grumbled, "Total zombie suck-up." She then looked at the thick-browed demon and muttered, "Fine, teach us how to run the machines." The thick-browed demon nodded and started the orientation. Turns out the car crash ghost actually got the hang of it, but the broken neck ghost and the red-clad specter were complete bricks. They couldn't learn a thing. The thick-browed demon was straight up confused. Logic-wise, you girls should be way better at the textile machines, the cutters, or the sewing stations than us guys. How are you 2 ghosts struggling this hard? Meanwhile, us male ghosts are already out here finishing the quota. Honestly, I think this is just pure talent. I learned it once, and I've already mastered it. Seems like for us dudes, except for giving birth, we're naturally gifted at everything else. Just then, our boy finished dinner and headed to the workshop. "Boss, these 2 female ghosts are legit hopeless. How do you want to handle them?" The bushy-browed demon acting like a factory foreman, reporting in like he's already climbed the corporate ladder. The red-clad specter and the hanging ghost look at him, trembling and trying to look cute. He strolls in with his hands behind his back, clears his throat, and says, "Guess it's time to swap their job description." He whips out a phone and sets it up on a stand, then looks at the 2 ghosts and drops the bombshell. "From now on, you 2 are in charge of live streaming to sell the clothes we make here." Live stream selling? Both ghosts are shook, clearly not expecting their new career path to be this modern. He frowns. "What, is there a problem? Can't run the machines? Don't want to do the live sales either. What do you want to do then? You want me to harvest your kidneys instead?" No. We'll stream. We'll sell." The red-clad specter squeaks out in a panic. The hanging ghost is nodding so hard her neck might snap. Accounts are set up, so who's streaming and who's modeling? The red-clad specter looks nervous, saying, "I'll model, but don't ask me to talk on camera. I'll choke." He arches an eyebrow. "Weren't you acting all tough before? Suddenly shy, are we?" The red-clad specter hangs her head in shame, so he points at the hanging ghost. "All right, you stream," she models. The hanging ghost lets her tongue loll out, super excited. "Thanks, boss. I'll make sure to crush these numbers." He narrows his eyes. "Are you roasting me right now?" With that tongue hanging out, she sounds like a muffled mess. "Are we sure this stream is gonna go well?" By now, the hanging ghost has already gone live, pulling up a stool and staring blankly into the... And just like that, the stream starts getting some traction. The comments section is officially popping off. "Oh damn, this streamer has some serious main character energy. Wait, What's she chewing on? She's cute, but like, pasty white, honestly kind of mid-horror vibes. What's hanging down there? Is that a tongue? Bro, what the hell? It's literally dragging on her chin. Once the hanged ghost realizes there's an audience, she immediately pivots. Hey everyone! I'm your hanged ghost sales representative. Check out this t-shirt I'm rocking tonight, hope you guys love it. Right on cue, the red-clad ghost struts out of the changing room wearing the shirt. It's a unisex fit, and honestly, the red-clad ghost is rocking it. She's actually got a top-tier build. The chat goes absolutely feral. Holy moly, the model is gorgeous. Where can I find a girl like that? Hit me up later. Let's grab dinner. Both the streamer and the model are fire. I'm buying this shirt just for the vibes. Someone please tell me where I can meet them. IRL. He watches the chat fly by and just chuckles. These idiots have zero survival instincts. I love it. He didn't expect having two ghosts running the live stream to be this much of a cheat code, especially the hanged ghost with her floppy tongue and garbled speech. The chat finds her absolutely hilarious. Meanwhile, the red-clad ghost keeps modeling the merch. You've got to admit, she looks damn good in that shirt. The simp army in the chat starts mass ordering, and they clear dozens of units in seconds. He's charging 100 yuan a pop. Honestly, that's mid to high tier pricing, but he feels like it's justified since a squad of ghosts made these. With a ghost modeling and another one selling, 100 yuan is a total steal. Even though the viewers have no clue these shirts were stitched by actual spirits, they're so thirsty for the streamer and the model that they're clicking buy regardless. As the hanged ghost mumbles her sales pitch, the viewers are spamming likes, gifts, and follows like crazy. The stream is trending hard now, and the viewer count is climbing every second. They're all mesmerized by the creepy yet cute duo and the cursed garment factory running in the background. What is this streamer's aesthetic, man? Is she doing a hanged ghost cosplay? The model behind her is a total smoke show. Is this some kind of horror-themed stream? Yo, the staff in the back are looking low-key terrifying. Lol. If you didn't know better, you'd think the models and factory workers in this stream were straight-up ghosts. LMAO. Honestly love the vibe. I'm definitely copping one. Our boy is hyped seeing the results. I mean, the production cost for these fits is dirt cheap. Selling 100 units at $100 each is 10,000 in revenue, baby. And that's just in the last few minutes. There's no telling how much he'll rack up later. But naturally, a massive problem just popped up. He's already sold over 100 shirts, but they've barely made 10. How is he supposed to ship these out? Looks like it's time to hire some slave labor. Thinking this, he looks at the bushy-browed demon and says, "Your shirts are selling like crazy. Keep grinding. We can't even keep up with demand." The demon hears this and gets a massive ego boost. After being a monster for so long, he finally found his true calling. So he immediately gets back to the grind, and our MC turns to the female zombie and the yellow weasel and the fox spirit who just showed up, telling them tonight they need to go recruit more. We need every ghost and demon in town on the payroll. The fox spirit, zombie, and weasel all agree, no cap. Then they all scatter to start hunting for recruits. And our guy heads out solo, hitting the streets. Usually, people pray for fewer ghosts and demons out there. But this madman is different. He's out here praying for an infestation, hoping to run into a whole squad of them, but of course, now that he's actually looking, he can't find a single one. So he lowers his standards to regular ghosts and spots a random spirit wandering around. It's just a basic green-headed ghost with a faint glow. Not even a threat. Actually, kind of pathetic. Our boy walks right up and goes, "Yo, my guy." The ghost turns around like, "The hell you want? Come here, I got a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for you." The ghost eyes him up and down, clearly thinking this dude is suspicious as hell. "You try to sell me some insurance or something?" "Nah. I noticed that glow on your head and your non-human face, so I just had to hit you up. I wouldn't even be talking to a normal person right now." The demon pouted, thinking he's definitely not your average Joe. I mean, he is a demon, after all. "What are you trying to say?" the green-headed demon asked. "I've got a gig that's perfect for someone like you. So what do you think? Want to give it a shot?" The green-headed demon grinned. "Listen, bro, I'm a literal demon." And he replied, "I know. That's exactly why I hunted you down. You knew I was a demon, and you came looking for me?" "Exactly. I came for the real deal. So spit it out, you in or not." "Demons don't need jobs. Why would I even need to work?" Now that's just a weak mindset. Who said demons can't be on the grind? Let me ask you. You got any ghost cash in your wallet? Nah. The question hit him right in the feels, and ignoring the pain, he continued, "So you got a whip?" The green-headed demon's face was already starting to look stressed. "No, I don't have one." "What about a crib?" "No, I don't have that either." A young demon without a whip or a crib? Those are just paper props anyway. You don't even have paper props? Don't you feel like an absolute loser of a demon right now? That line hit the green-headed demon like a truck to the chest. His entire spectral body started shaking as he hung his head low. He was radiating pure shame and despair. The green-headed demon felt like he didn't even deserve to call himself a demon anymore. Seeing him break, he quickly doubled down. "The chance to change your life. I've got a gig for you, paying out 10 billion in ghost money every single month. What do you think? 10 billion? Bro, are you trying to scam a ghost or what?" Look, to us living folks, 10 billion is just a stack of paper you grab from the convenience store for a couple of bucks, right? You for real right now? What's the actual job? He let out a goofy laugh. You'll find out when we get there. You aren't lying to me, are you? Why would I bother scamming you? Do I look like a bad guy to you? If you didn't bring that up, we'd be fine. But one look at you and I'm already suspicious. You aren't a bad guy. And honestly, what do you even have worth stealing? He rolled his eyes, and the green-headed ghost muttered, It's complicated. What if you try to drag me into a pyramid scheme? After yapping until he was blue in the face, the green-headed ghost finally bought the story and agreed to head to the factory. He sighed, thinking to himself that it would have been way faster to just snatch them up. Evil spirits are just more convenient. No need for all this small talk. Plus, I don't have to pay them, and I can just turn them into the Psychic Police Bureau for a sweet bounty. With that in mind, he led the green-headed ghost back out onto the streets. The green-headed ghost asked, So, what's the plan now? Are we hunting for more ghosts? I need a whole lot more of them. No sooner had he said that than he spotted a woman in white chasing down some dude not too far away. The ghost girl had hair messier than a bird's nest. Her face was completely hidden, and she was moving in a way that just wasn't human. Every joint in her body looked like it had been snapped in half, which was honestly giving me major nightmares. But even with those janky movements, she kept teleporting 10 meters at a time, so despite being slow, she was stuck to that guy like glue. The man was absolutely losing his mind, and looking closer, he was so skinny. He looked like a walking skeleton. Anyone who didn't know better would have thought he was a ghost too. He saw our boy and came sprinting over, screaming for help. This ghost is trying to delete me. His eyes lit up like a Christmas tree, basically salivating at the thought of catching a demon. And look, the demon just served itself up on a silver platter. It's actually attacking someone right in front of him. Bro is absolutely buzzing right now. He pulls out a watermelon knife, charges in, and screams, Listen here, you little glitch, how dare you harass people on my watch? Eat this blade. With that, he swings the fruit knife straight at the ghost girl. The ghost whips her hair back, and that mess of strands starts moving like a giant viper, lunging right for him. He slashes horizontally, and the blade glints with a faint, low-key magical aura. The moment the steel connects, sparks fly, and a whole chunk of her hair hits the floor. The banshee shrieks in terror, glaring at him through her disheveled mop of hair. Chen Zie eyes her up, thinking, Wait, is this a Japanese ghost? Living the high life, huh? With that outfit? Yo, Sadako, move aside, you're in my way. Sadako is tilted. He actually ran into the OG Sadako. He shouts, You've got some nerve, trying to pull this trash on Huaxia soil. Stinky monk, mind your own business. Get lost or I'll make sure you don't live to see tomorrow. Sadako growls, but he just sneers. And what if I refuse to mind my business, huh? He turns to the skinny guy behind him and says, Don't trip, brother. As long as I'm standing here, this thing can't touch you. But for real though, I gotta ask, you're actually built different. Getting hunted down by Sadako herself. Why is she so obsessed with deleting you? Spill the tea. I need to know if this is worth the grind. It's a long story, but basically, I found this cursed disc. I popped it in to see if it was the Sadako series, and man, talk about a bad move. She crawled straight out of the TV, and I lost my mind. I literally peed on her out of pure panic, and now she won't stop chasing. He nods, turning to Sadako. Look, you tried to scare him first, so you're officially the one in the wrong here. Consider this case officially handled by me. Hearing that, Sadako absolutely loses it. You little jerk, I'm killing you first. She lunges straight for him with murderous intent. He swings his knife, and it's a full-on boss fight between him and Sadako. Even though she's a high-tier vengeful spirit, she's no match for a gigachad and absolute genius like him. After a few exchanges, Sadako catches the watermelon knife twice, but she's still not backing down, acting like she's got a death wish. He's low-key not even trying to finish her off for good though. After all, he still needs this thing to get to work in the factory. So he looked around for something to trap it in first, planning to deal with the brainwashing once he gets back. He turns to the skinny guy and goes, Yo, you got anything on you that can hold stuff? Yeah. The guy nods, tossing him a small packet he had on him. Turns out it's an unopened condom, and while he was speechless, he didn't have time to overthink it. He wasted no time ripping the package open, left hand holding the wrap, right hand performing a spirit-sealing mudra, pointing it straight at the charging Sadako. By the power of the seal, all spirits shall be contained. With a sharp shriek of terror, Sadako let out a blood-curdling scream, turning into a wisp of ghost energy before getting sucked straight into the rubber. After a quick chat with the skinny guy, he dipped, letting the green-headed ghost roam the streets again. The factory is packed with machinery that needs a graveyard shift, so he's got to grind and catch more ghosts to work the floor. Too bad he couldn't find any more evil spirits on the clock. He finally had to resort to hiring a few ghost ladies, paying them top-tier underworld salary. By the time he hit the factory, it was already past midnight. Huang Pizi, the zombie girl, and the fox fairy had all checked in. Their loot haul wasn't any better, each only snagging one evil spirit. He knew this wasn't sustainable. The production quota is no joke, so he laid it out. Zombie girl, fox fairy, Huang Pizi, you guys are on machine duty now. I'll handle the recruitment grind. Huang Pizi, You're the supervisor when I'm gone, but when I'm here, you're on the machines. Zombie girl, you're in charge of the iron to get these fits looking crisp. And Fox Fairy, I've seen your style, you've actually got taste. So you're in charge of the fashion designs, and when you're bored, handle the fabric cutting. The trio nodded in sync and immediately got to the grind. As for the green-headed ghost and the new recruits, they started getting trained on the machines by the thick-browed ghost. Honestly, with a dozen employees now on the payroll, banging out 100 shirts in a day or two is going to be light work. That's when he popped open the package to release Sadako. She tried to go for the throat the moment she popped out, but his fists were ready to deliver a reality check. After a quick fist-to-face therapy session, Sadako after the bushy-browed demon gave a quick tutorial, Sadako learned how to speed-run the sewing machine in no time. So she hopped into her station and started cranking out fits like a total sweatshop boss. He checked the 4 production lines hitting max output and started grinning like a total villain. But right on cue, a loud knocking echoed through the factory. He furrowed his brows, wondering who the hell would be knocking at this hour. I mean, literally nobody dares to step outside at night in this world. Full of suspicion, he walked over to open the door and take a peek. Lo and behold, it's not a person, it's a full-blown ghost. A female one at that. The spirit glared at him with pure aggression and barked, "You know where the neighbor downstairs went? I'm the neighbor downstairs. What's it to you?" The ghost checked him out and said, "A door-knocking spirit went missing earlier? You send him to the spirit bureau or what?" "Yeah, I did, so what are you going to do about it?" "I'm his partner in crime, and I'm here to settle the score." The ghost fumed. "Oh, is that how it is? Come on in then. It's windy outside, we'll talk inside," he said, leaving the ghost thinking, "Wait, I'm here to kill this guy? You're really inviting me in?" So she followed his lead and stepped right into the factory. As soon as she was in, he slammed the door shut like a trap. The ghost turned around to see the doors covered in talismans and the windows and walls plastered with even more protective spells, plus a dozen random demons and spirits grinding away at their tasks. Standing there, the ghost's brain completely lagged, trying to process what the hell just happened. What kind of trap is this? So what were you saying you wanted to do again? He pulled out a watermelon knife and asked with a grin. The ghost realized she messed up big time, quickly pivoting. "I said I wanted a job. Are you guys hiring?" "Oh, is that so? We've got plenty of openings." "Then why were you holding that watermelon knife?" "Me? Oh, I was just about to slice some fruit for you, my bad." "Wait, I just realized I don't even have any fruit." Haha. This ghost clearly knows how to read the room and save her own skin. Knowing full well that avenging the ghost was a total suicide mission, he decided to feed himself to the wolves anyway. Realizing she was in a real jam, the demon girl accepted her fate and got forced into the factory's assembly line. Over the next 2 days, the factory line pumped out over 100 t-shirts, finally hitting the quota for the livestream sales. He told Huang Pizzi and the zombie girl to pack the goods, then hit up the courier to ship the whole haul out. With that mountain of orders finally cleared, he could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Turns out, this whole boss life ain't as easy as it looks. For the next round, he decided to pre-produce the stock and sell it via stream before churning out more. So the factory squad of demons started crafting different designs based on the fox spirit's blueprints, dividing the labor among themselves. It took 3 whole days just to knock out those 100 pieces. That evening, he stared at the 100 sets of menswear and 100 sets of women's wear, wore a sinister grin, and announced, "Hanging Ghost and Red-Clad Spectre, we're going live tonight to push these items first. The rest of you ghouls, back to the grind." And just like that, the assembly line went right back to the hustle. In the livestream chat, over 10,000 viewers were watching this cursed broadcast and going absolutely feral in the comments. This ghost town stream is back, and it looks like there are even more employees than last time. LO. Is that employee legit cosplaying Sadako? LMAO. The resemblance is uncanny. What's this cursed factory selling today? I actually got the t-shirt from last time. I thought $100 was a total scam at first, but it's actually ice cold to wear. Guy above is spitting facts. Same here, the vibe is exactly the same. It's literally like walking around with a portable AC unit strapped to your body. Seeing the chat hype it up, he smirked to himself. It's made by actual ghosts. Of course it's cold as hell. But right on cue, a super sus voice popped up in the chat. What's so special about these shirts? They're incredibly uncomfortable and straight up trash. Total garbage. Everyone stop buying this crap. And what's up with all these monsters in the stream? It's a chaotic eyesore and looks super sketchy. That hater kept spamming the chat non-stop, clearly trying to troll the stream and the product. He frowned, thinking, it's just a shirt, bro. Why is this guy being such a massive hater? The hanging ghost waifu is straight up triggered. I mean, she's literally just trying to run her stream. Even the red-clad ghoul model is losing it, like, bro, what is this guy's problem? Just because the clothes aren't your vibe doesn't mean you have to flame her in the chat. Someone finally stepped in. Hey, calm down, keyboard warrior. No need to be such a hater. The fit looks solid. Stop being a clown. This guy is definitely a bottom feeder who acts like a total Chad online because his real life is mid. The toxic commenter snapped back. I'm trolling on purpose, deal with it. What are you gonna do? You think you can actually touch me? Crawl through the fiber optics if you want to fight? Stop acting tough? What if this room is actually filled with legit demons? You'll be crying for your mama before you even know what hit you. Demons? Schmemons? Who cares? If you've got the balls, come and find me. I'm not just flaming you. I'm dropping a 1-star review on your whole store. Our boy checked the dude's profile, saw the trash review, and the insults were straight up disrespectful. He took a deep breath, handed the address to the thick-browed ghost, and said, "Handle it, but don't catch a murder charge." The ghost grinned. "Don't worry, boss. I know exactly how much pain to dish out." Our boy nodded and said, "Get back quick, you're the MVP of this production line." The thick-browed ghost gave a nod and dipped. Even as he turned into soul energy to fly off, he was still mauling. "Damn it, a ghost with my talent personally stitching your drip, and you dare call it trash? I'm about to show this loser what real pain feels like." The hater was still yapping in the chat, but the hanging waifu just ignored the clown. Back to the grind. What's up, everyone? Tonight, I'm showcasing 2 fresh fits, straight from the factory. Brand new collection. Only 100 units in stock. First come, first served, let's get it. The red-clad ghost walked out, wearing the new dress. The model hit the stage with a figure that's straight up god tier. The fit looked insane on her, and the girls in the chat everyone started spamming orders like crazy. At the same time, the red-clad ghost whipped out a men's autumn collection sample. After the hanged ghost's stuttering sales pitch, the chat actually started dropping bags, but that one hater was still trying to stay relevant, spewing pure toxic waste in the chat. Suddenly, after all that barking, he just went completely silent. Wait, why did that hater suddenly stop yapping? Did his master finally put him on a leash or something? LMAO. The whole livestream was roasting him. And meanwhile, the male and female outfits sold out instantly. Seeing that, he was about to tell the hanged ghost to kill the stream, but right at that moment, the same netizen who was just trashing the stream earlier suddenly spoke up. "I'm here to state my piece. I sincerely apologize to the streamer and the models, the factory staff, the boss, and everyone else in this chat, and I'm retracting every single disrespectful statement and idiotic word I said. I hope you all can forgive me for being such a trash human being. I've already received my retribution." He copied and pasted that apology message like a bot. Everyone in the livestream chat was just straight up confused. Like, this hater was acting like a final boss a second ago. How did he turn into such a coward so fast? This whole situation is low-key making zero sense, but they had no idea that this hater never dared to step into another livestream ever again, let alone open his mouth to troll anyone online. Because that same night, after he spent his time trolling the stream, a legit demon showed up right at his front door, scared the living soul out of him, and forced him to join the stream to apologize. And the part that really made him piss his pants was that this demon was actually inside the live stream, sitting in the back operating the equipment. This guy became the first person to realize that all the employees in this factory were the real deal. From that day on, the clothes shipped out by the factory basically never got a bad review, and even if a hater left one, it would magically change to a 5-star rating overnight. In the following weeks, the factory was officially fully operational. With over a dozen staff working in sync, they could run 4 or 5 production lines at the exact same time, pulling all-nighters to churn out over 100 pieces of clothing with ease. They were pumping out hundreds of items in just a few days, and one live stream later, the whole inventory was cleared out. Once these ghosts got into the workflow, they actually adjusted pretty fast. As expected, the soul-crushing grind really does erode your willpower over time. Those ghosts were so thirsty for blood at first, but now they don't even care about killing. They're just obsessed with quality control. On payday morning, our guy rolled out of bed and headed to the workshop to check on them. The place was stacked with finished clothes, and the ghosts were all tucked away in their boxes. Even though the doors and windows were blacked out, those ghosts were still ghosting the outside world. Probably just catching some Z's. Since they'd been grinding all night, he figured he should show a little appreciation, especially since they'd pulled in tens of thousands for him over the last couple weeks. A real boss isn't just about selling empty promises. You gotta actually pay up. So he took some cash to the spirit shop, only to see the same short-haired girl behind the counter. She saw him and immediately snapped, "Weird. How are you still not dead?" She was probably still salty about that time he got snatched by the blonde ghost. He rolled his eyes. "HMPH, you're the one selling supplies to ghosts all day, and you're still kicking. Who are you calling dead?" I don't know why, but these two trading barbs just felt like a natural hobby for them. The short-haired girl huffed and asked, "So, what's the shopping list today?" "I need a haul. I've got the car outside. Give me a dozen stacks of the 100 million note hell money, plus a dozen bundles of incense and a dozen pairs of candles. Oh, and toss in one of those giant paper mansion kits too." Yeah, he was definitely going on a shopping spree. But even with all that, it only set him back $1,000. Pretty insane considering he'd cleared 70,000 to 80,000 already. After paying Huang PZ, the fox spirit, and the zombie girl their 3,000 each, the rest of the ghost crew's salary didn't even total 1,000. Since the paper mansions ate up half the budget, hiring ghost labor was honestly a massive W. It's just a shame the zombie girl, Fox Spirit, and Huang PZ don't accept hell money, or he'd be saving even more cash. As he loaded the gear into his car, the short-haired girl gave him a weird look. Why you buying so much hell money? Your ancestors taking out high-interest loans down there or something? What would you know? I'm using this to pay my payroll. He said it with a massive chip on his shoulder, ignored her, and peeled off. Back home, he was just dropping the gear in the workshop when his phone started buzzing. It was Su Manier. He frowned, picked up, and muttered, "What now? Little brother, can you stop being so cold to me?" On the other end of the line, Su Manier sounded like she was about to cry. He sighed and said, "Get to the point," so she sniffled. "I flopped my startup, I'm depressed, let's hit the bars tonight, please come with me." Su Manier pleaded. He was gonna hit her with the rejection, but he remembered he had zero social life anyway, so he just caved. Su Manier went from 0 to 100, saying she'd pick him up in her whip before hanging up. Not even a while later, the roar of a sports car echoed outside. He got up to open the door, and sure enough, it was Su Manier. She flashed him a sweet smile and said, "Let's go." She dragged him into the car and spilled the tea. "My dad saw how cracked you were last time, and he's been dying to invite you over to set up some anti-ghost charms and wards around our crib, and he said money is literally no object." Su Manier looked at him with those puppy dog eyes, waiting for a yes. He replied, "Bro, is that all? That's easy money." "For real? Can we swing by my place first? Ever since I got kidnapped by those ghosts at the East Mountain Graveyard, my dad is terrified we're gonna run into more cursed stuff." He gave a nod. "I got you. Don't stress, leave it to the expert." Su Manier was stoked. In her eyes, this guy was the ultimate hero, the kind you only see in movies. A year ago, some random loser was harassing her, and even though they didn't know each other, he stepped in and beat that guy into the pavement. Then, when she was snatched by over 100 ghosts recently, he literally folded that entire squad with his bare hands. If a dude like that isn't the definition of a hero, then I don't know who is. The car pulled up to the mansion in no time. Once they hopped out, Su Manier led him right inside. Inside, her pops, Boss Su, was busy cutting deals with some other suits. He didn't really care when his daughter walked in, but the second he saw Chen, he dropped his feet from the table like he'd been electrocuted, jumped up and yelled, "Young Master Chen!" before rushing over. "Oh man, if I knew you were coming, I would have rolled out the red carpet. Your presence makes this place shine." Chen was low-key shocked at how hard Boss Su was glazing him. "Yeah, well, Manier said she was worried about some ghost problems, so I'm here to patch it up." "Oh wow, it's an absolute honor." Boss Su just whipped out a check, scribbled $1 million on it, and told him, "My bad, Chen. Sorry for the trouble. Just a small token of my appreciation." "It's nothing, really." Before the kid could even be polite, Boss Su jammed that check right into his pocket. Chen gave a bitter smile and muttered, "Whatever. Just bring me a calligraphy brush." A servant rushed over and handed him the brush like his life depended on it. With everyone's eyes glued to him, he casually strolled over to the villa's exterior wall. Boss Su leaned into the other businessmen and whispered, "Y'all have no idea. This young man Chen is built different. I literally saw him snatch 2 demons out of thin air with my own eyes. And you want to know what happened to the 3rd demon? Ha ha. The thing was so scared it literally gave itself up to the authorities. They'd rather get dragged off to the spirit realm than have to face this guy." The businessmen were stunned, all clamoring to see what kind of high-level seal or ward he was about to set up. Just as they were chatting about demon-slaying techniques, they saw him take the brush and slap a few words onto the white wall. "Friend of the great bandit Zi Ye." Everyone's jaws hit the floor staring at those tacky letters. They were expecting some god-tier cultivation move. Not this. Boss Su just dropped a cool $1 million for 8 words. It looked like he did absolutely nothing, yet somehow, everything at once. But honestly, both Su Manier and her old man knew exactly what was up. Those 8 words were actually absolute fire. Ever since that incident at the Dongshan graveyard, the reputation of the great bandit Zi Ye had blown up all over the Haicheng supernatural scene. Every demon, ghost, and cultivator knew there was a straight-up menace running around, a guy you absolutely don't want to cross who plays by his own psychotic rules. Half these ghosts start shaking just hearing the name Great Bandit Zi Ye. Rumor has it that most of the recent ghost-snatching cases in Haicheng had his fingerprints all over them. People say the number of spirits the Great Bandit has sent to the Slammer is way more than he can count on his fingers. With a reputation for being that unhinged, no ghost in their right mind would dare step to him, let alone mess with his friends. Nice. That's peak calligraphy right there. The ego is legendary, but the flex is even better. With these 8 words on the wall, let's see which ghost in Haicheng is dumb enough to mess with my house. Ha ha! Boss Su was cracking up, while the other businessmen started glazing him, dying of envy. Chen put the brush away and said, "Look, I can't promise the world, but it should keep the low-tier trash away for a while." "You're too humble, Chen, honestly. Way too humble. It's getting late, why don't you stay for a quick bite at the house?" As soon as Boss Su offered, Suman here immediately piped up, "I already invited him, Dad." "Oh, that works too." Boss Su is low-key hyped, thinking his daughter hooking up with a cultivator is an absolute W. After leaving the mansion, Sumani drags our boy straight to a club. With neon lights and hard drinks everywhere, the vibe is straight up chaotic. All these youngsters are catching feelings and losing their minds on the dance floor, using the booze to get that liquid courage flowing, just absolutely going feral and letting loose, even though no one dares to roam the streets once the sun goes down. It's wild how this place is popping off in the middle of the night, but our guy isn't exactly hating the energy. He just gives Suman Kani a confused look and asks, "Why bring me to a place like this? Since I've never been here, I wanted to see it for myself, though it's definitely a mess. But it's fine. As long as I'm with you, I'm not scared of anything." He's speechless. Then he scans the room and feels that dark energy. It's thick, mixed with some real sketchy vibes. He can sense it perfectly. There's some high-level trash, a supernatural entity lurking around. Sumani hits the bar and orders 2 drinks. He takes a sip and whispers, "I bet people die in this place every single day." Suman Trani is shook to her core. Right on cue, a girl, maybe 16 or 17, pops up from behind the bar. "Hey little bro, you a cop or something?" He glances at the girl. Her voice sounds sweet, but it's cold as ice, and it's radiating straight up bloodlust. "Nope, not a cop." The girl giggles, looking all cute and innocent, but it's giving everyone massive red flag vibes. "Then why'd you say people die here every day?" The girl presses him. He casually pulls Suman Juni behind him, lifts his drink and says, "Well, when you've got a monster like you hiding in the bar, people dropping dead is just another Tuesday, right?" As soon as he drops that bomb, the girl in red widens her eyes. "Who are you anyway?" "Who I am? That's not important. What matters is that you aren't even human." He says it with this creepy, unhinged grin. That smile actually freaks the girl out. She can't explain it, but she's suddenly feeling the chill. "I have a rule. I drain the life force of one person every single day. You're being real dense today, and since you know too much, I'm just gonna have to drain your life force," the girl in red said coldly, completely dropping her cute act. Bro really thought she was sweet. "The last person who tried to drain my energy is rotting in prison, so keep acting up if you want to die." The girl in red snapped, whipping out a stack of red paper and scissors to craft a string of paper dolls in seconds. Nobody has ever dared to mess with Yukila like this. She pressed her pale hands together, fingers locked in a complex seal, thumbs touching in sync. Instantly, a menacing red aura coiled around her hands. Those paper dolls looked like they just got hit with a resurrection spell. They took flight, shrieking with some creepy, supernatural energy, diving toward him like a swarm of hungry demons. Our boy just calmly pulled a watermelon knife from his back, gave it one clean swipe, and sliced the whole squad in half like nothing. Then, a look of pure excitement flashed in his eyes. Looking at the detailed paper crafts on the ground, he turns to Yue Kila and goes, "Yo, Yue Kila, I didn't know you were a legit artisan. Those are some top-tier cutting skills. My shop is hiring, and you're basically hired. Why don't you come work for me?" Yue Kila was fuming, but she realized this dude was built different. She took a step back, staring him down as she muttered, "Guess you actually have some skills. Too bad you ran into me today." With that, she flashed another hand seal. The shredded dolls on the floor surged back to life, glowing red as they swarmed him again. He let out a scoff, channeled his chi into the blade, and the watermelon knife started glowing with a faint light. "Get wrecked," he roared, swinging the blade right into the paper swarm. This time they didn't just get sliced in half. They started popping like firecrackers on impact. The whole string of dolls exploded into tiny scraps of paper, showering the floor. Yue Kila lost her mind, and Bro just launched himself forward, like a heat-seeking missile, vaulted off the bar counter, and started a free-fall assault, bringing his blade down with zero chill toward Yue Kila. Yue Kila scrambled back, desperately forming hand seals to blast him with a wave of blood-red evil energy. Our boy didn't even blink. He put his entire weight into that watermelon knife and shredded the magic like it was wet tissue paper. Yue Kila didn't expect this guy to be this cracked, so she had no choice but to keep retreating. She realized her paper dolls and dark arts were basically doing nothing to stop him, mostly because her moves were all just flashy, overcomplicated nonsense. While he was out here living by the brute force solves everything meta, using his raw energy to clash head-on with her magic. No fancy tricks, just straight-up violence. Sometimes, when you're up against someone this mindless, all that extra aesthetic fluff becomes completely useless. He chased Yue Kila across the wrecked bar, waving his knife like a maniac. Yue Kila shot him a look and scoffed, her eyes glowing red as she tried to mind control him. Since she's basically a pro at puppeteering souls, but that only works if the target's soul is actually weak. And if someone's got a mindset harder than diamond, it's practically impossible. And, coincidentally, that's exactly the type of guy he is. At that moment, he only had one goal in his brain: dragging Yue Kila back to the factory to work as a weaver. Her handiwork is top tier. Letting that talent go to waste outside the assembly line would be a crime. With his mind locked on that grind set, Yuekila realized she couldn't break his soul, and because she wasted those precious seconds, he caught up to her. He swung the blade, she screamed for him to stop, and he brought it to a dead halt right above her head. Think about it, you coming to the factory to work or what? I didn't agree, but we can talk. Wait, you're talking about my head, not my employment? Wasn't it you just a second ago trying to end my existence? He feinted a swing to scare her. She flinched, and the knife grazed her face, leaving her ghost white. Still want to act tough? Yuekila cursed him out and turned to bolt. But our boy wasn't giving her another chance, closing the distance in one stride and slamming the blade right into her back. Yuekila shrieked as she hit the deck, then looked back. Faint red aura still leaking from her body. Looking at him, she said, "Wait, pause for a second. I'll go with you." He let out a cold snort. "You sure about that, sweetheart?" "Yeah, I'm sure." Yuekila was out of options, so that's all she could say. He sheathed his blade, thinking she was finally acting smart. Yuekila was injured and didn't want to fight, just wanted to stall him. He wasn't looking to throw hands either, just wanted to trick her back to the factory. They locked eyes and shared a fake smile. "What are you waiting for? Aren't you going to get up and follow me?" He suddenly frowned. Yuekila didn't expect him to flip the script so fast, so she just scoffed and hauled herself up. "Fine, I'm coming with you." She already had a plan to string him along, wait for an opening, and then smoke him to drain his essence dry. And if the chance didn't present itself or she couldn't win, she could just bail whenever she wanted. They headed back to the bar. Sumanher saw he was totally fine and immediately relaxed. Then side-eyed Yuekila standing next to him. She couldn't believe this cute 16-year-old looking girl was actually some high-level dark cultivator. "We've had our drinks. You head home first. I've got to drop this one off at the factory," he told Sumanher, and before she could even answer, he added, "Oh, and a quick heads up. Stay away from these sketchy places in the future. You never know when you might run into some weirdo dark cultist like this." As he spoke, he glanced over at Yuekila. Yuekila pouted but didn't even try to clap back. Sumanher nodded and said, "Got it. Let's head out then." With that, he led Sumanher and Yuekila out of the bar. As soon as they stepped into the harsh sunlight, Yuekila's face turned even paler. Already wounded, she was looking weaker by the second. She's a dark cultivator, with some twisted arts, and an immortal soul. Technically, she's even more corrupted than the average dark mage, so while she can walk around in daylight, the intense sun still messes with her. Seeing her struggle, he didn't even blink. Sumanher asked, "Want me to drive you back?" He gave a quick nod. Once they were in the car, Sumanher waited for him and Yuekila to reach his place. After watching Sumanher dip, he told Yuekila to head upstairs. Yuekila played the obedient act, but her brain was busy plotting how to unalive him or make a run for it. They got upstairs, and he unlocked the workshop door. Once inside, he pointed at a fabric cutter and asked, "Since you're a paper-cutting genius, surely you can handle cutting some clothes, right?" Yuekila was speechless. "And if I can, so what? Good, that's all I needed to hear. From now on, you're on duty here. Do it right, and maybe I'll promote you to team leader of the sewing squad." Yuekila took a deep breath, thinking to herself, who even wants that trash job? He patiently taught her how to operate the machine. Yuekila, however, wasn't paying a lick of attention. After a while, he said, "It's getting late. I'm gonna go grab dinner before my shift starts. Just stay here and wait. I'll come get you when it's time to clock in." With that, he turned around and walked out. The moment he left, Yuekila smirked. "You want me to grind for you, bro? Who the hell do you think you are? This idiot really thinks I can't escape?" She reached for the door, but as she got close, a golden barrier flared up, blasting her backward. She hit the floor hard. Yuekila scrambled up in pain, staring at the seal on the door with a look of pure disgust. She tried her luck at the window, lunging full speed to bust through and fly away. Instead, a loud crackling sound sent her flying back across the room. That hit did some real damage. She was howling, and took forever just to stand back up. She limped over and pulled back the curtain, only to see the window plastered with more talismans. Are you actually insane? Is this guy a psycho? If you're gonna use talismans, just use them. Why hide them behind curtains? She looked at the ceiling, realized it was covered in seals too, and started to panic. Was she really stuck here? Forced to labor for that annoying clown? No way, right? A legit dark cultivator like her? Stuck operating a sewing machine? I mean, it fits her skill set, but this is a massive waste of talent. Bitter and fuming, she scanned the room, staring at looking at the cut. She let out a scoff of pure disrespect. She thought that cut was so mid, it was actually triggering her inner perfectionist to just fix it herself. I mean, the girl is naturally gifted at this. She can't help it. Nah, no way. Why am I even thinking like that? Impossible. I'm an immortal soul-eating entity. I'm supposed to be OP and evil, so why am I out here doing manual labor for this guy? What a joke. She quickly looked away, terrified she'd actually give in and start sewing. But she can't just sit here. The sun's going down, and her captor's probably coming back soon. I gotta dip. No matter what it takes, I need to get out of this place. Thinking about it, Yuekila was starting to lose her cool. She paced around the workshop looking for an exit, but every time she pulled back a curtain, it was just more cursed seals. She looked frantic, almost like she was about to have a full-blown mental breakdown. Just as she was about to hit her breaking point, night fell, and a dozen ghosts slowly crawled out of their wooden barrels. The zombie maiden jumped out of the closet too. Then the door creaked open, and the fox spirit and Huang Beizi walked in, locking it right behind them. Yu Qiluo immediately stepped up and barked at the fox spirit. "The door is sealed, how are you guys even opening it? We practice the righteous path. As long as we don't mess with the seals head on, they won't touch me or Brother Huang," the fox spirit replied. Yue Qiluo's expression turned sour real quick. Since she practices dark arts and demonic magic, the mere proximity to these seals triggers them to attack her on sight. She pointed at the fox spirit and demanded, "Open the door! I'm getting out of here. You're living in a fantasy land, aren't you? You're here now, so quit complaining and get to work. You think you're actually leaving?" Yue Qiluo's face dropped. "Don't think just because you're a fox spirit, I won't wreck you. Try me." The bushy-browed demon led a dozen goons forward, and the zombie maiden hopped over to surround her. In a 1v1, Yue Qiluo isn't afraid of any of these losers. But a gang squad? She stepped back and went dead silent. These ghosts all have some annoying tricks up their sleeves. Seeing how the wind was blowing, Yue Qiluo decided not to lose her head. "We're giving you a chance to work here, so get to it, or you're gonna ruin our production quota. Watch out, or you're getting jumped." Yue Qiluo took a deep breath and muttered. She eventually walked over to the sewing machine, learned how to use it, and started working. "Let's